bet. Got you all already fighting about grits in the fucking comment section. They're in the comment section fighting about grits.
You look so pretty, Tom.
I'm like the fourth member of Rat.
I thought Fabio, because I feel like, the Mystery Science Theater sketch where they had the Fabio kit, and it came with like a blonde wig that kind of looked like that, except blonde, obviously, and had like a little chest piece, and then they were all like, Fabio. That's what it reminded me of. Just that same hairstyle.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good look for you, I think.
It's your wig.
I know. Somehow I think it looked better on me, though.
Yeah, I think it did.
You think?
I can't really drink with this wig.
It does kind of hang in your face, I noticed.
Yeah.
I kind of had, when I wore it, I was kind of like kept going like that. I'm not used to having like hair falling in my mouth when I'm trying to fucking do shit,
Yeah. I'm immediately fucking pretty, though. Put the wig on, you're just like...
God, you remind me of somebody and it's driving me crazy. I can't think of who it is.
Like some kind of 70s show.
You did, yeah, you did.
Like a Carrot Top.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Top.
You're not pale or freckly enough to be Carrot Top.
Carrot Top got huge.
I know, he looks like...
He's fucking crazy, but he got fucking huge.
Like, I don't know what... He looked like the fucking Toxic Avenger is what he looked like. I thought... The fuck, man, Carrot Top.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just the fact that he bulked out. It was also the fact that he got really bad plastic surgery, and he had his face like pulled in all kinds of alarming directions, and it just looked really, really like his mouth was like this wide. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was like all the way across. He looked like one of those like catfishes or something.
He looked like a fucking ginger Steven Tyler on crack.
Which, that's not a good look for anybody, really.
Dream on!
There you go. Maybe it's Robert Plant that I'm thinking of.
I don't know.
Because he kind of had hair like that at some point, right?
Yeah, kind of.
I like that he's hanging your hair in your face. It's like Tom's a man of mystery.
It's a pain in the ass drink with this shit.
Well, see how now you understand girls' pain. You know what I'm saying? Now we just need to put you in a corset and some high heels. And put some long fucking nails on you.
Now she's fantasizing. I look like the fucking...
And then you'll be like, ugh, what the fuck?
I'm the seventh member of fucking Twisted Sister.
You're not going to take it? You're not going to take it?
Yeah, I ain't going to take this anymore.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's weird now because it's weird not having a topic. Is it? You know what I mean?
You need a topic. Got everybody's here.
Fuck the topics.
Here. Fuck topic.
Yeah, a bunch of people did say you look like Carrot Top. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Carrot Top.
Zach said he looks like if Fabio and Ronald McDonald had a baby that you ordered off Wish.
Yeah.
Nice. I think you nailed it.
I saw that.
No sound here at the moment. Can anybody hear the...
Rick had to ask, is that a wig? What kind of shit is that?
No. Let me see. Can you guys hear the music or no? I mean, we can't hear it, but I have it turned down because I don't want like all this. Oh, you stood up, and I was like, I thought you were gonna like fart into the microphone or something.
Talking about? Bitch, crazy.
We were watching it. I thought of that because that's not random. We thought of that because I was watching one of Dan Bell's live streams last night. Because sometimes we just put it on in the background, like while I'm reading a book or something. And they've started doing like these kind of goofball ghost hunts. Like they don't really super believe in ghosts or anything, but they have all the ghost hunter equipment. So they go to these abandoned places, and then they just kind of dick around. And Rick Serra is there, and he's like farting on the thing, and it's like super classy. And for some reason, I don't know why it makes me laugh.
Okay, you check the sound level yourself. That's it.
Let me see.
So you can see what it's like. That's us talking. I don't know if you want to lower it.
Oh, I'm listening to my own voice, but a few seconds behind.
Is the music level all right for you guys, or should we drop it down some?
I feel like it's too loud. I think it's
drop it down just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's too loud. I think here it's just like it's hard for us to hear because I'm turning it.
Yeah, try that.
Yeah, I'm turning it down to like minus 42 decibels. That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah,
that's about right.
Okay, so there we go.
That's what it sounds like.
Let me see.
That's the monitor. How's it sound to you now?
Yeah, that's better. Oh, it's so relaxing.
Yeah.
It is relaxing.
Okay.
This music is actually, I got it all from Free Music Archive. These are like 4 albums by the same individual or band. They're called Anonymous 420. Yeah. You know, like weed. But yeah, they had like 4 albums on Free Music Archive, and I was just like, I kind of flipped through and I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool and vaporwavy. And I can put that in the background, so I just downloaded all 4 albums and made a big fucking...
You got all my props, got another hat on.
Yeah, he brought props, you guys.
All kinds of hats. So
I mean, I guess I'm lucky he didn't bring like some other props. He could have brought all kind of like, you know, scary things.
Got my fucking, I don't know what she's talking about. Fucking, I got my fucking hat on there for that way I can change the motif. So
the motif.
Yeah. So we are here at our first long interactive live stream. It's a sidetrack. Jenny was trying to come up with a good title for it. I was going to call it the Therapeutic Apocalyptic Sidetrack.
Well, you didn't say it all together like that.
Well, I was trying to come up with something. You're like, what? So she just posted it under a bunch of numbers.
No, I didn't. I put what you said first. You put first apocalyptic live stream. Like, okay. I don't know if that's a good, but I don't know. I can change it later, whatever. All it's right. Like, because I was like, well, I overthink everything. You know how it is. But you have to overthink things or you don't get shit done right. You know what I'm saying? That's how I justify it. But so I'm sitting there thinking, well, I don't know what we're going to talk about yet. So what the fuck am I going to title it? So I just had it up there. Like, I was like, well, I'll just put Sidetracks Live and then the date, and then I'll come up with the title later.
You can retitle it.
Well, I know.
Once we get done.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, damn.
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 Okay. All right. Was that cookie for me? Okay.
Tila says she likes my necklace. Yes, it's HP Lovecraft. My friend Jen gave me this a very, very long time ago. She got it from some Etsy store. They have a bunch of different ones. I know they had a Morrissey one, and they had... What the fuck was that other one? I can't remember what. So they had an Edgar Allan Poe one too, I think. But I like this one best because it has tentacles. You know. Yeah. So, what are we gonna talk about? See, we don't even know.
No, we're already talking now. We don't have to talk about anything. In any minute now.
It's funny because when we have a topic, it's like
she's worried about topics.
I was just saying when we have a topic, it's like we just keep going off on tangents and all these other things. But when we don't have a topic, we're just kind of sitting here with our thumbs up our butts and we can't think of anything to talk
about. I'm just doing what. It's not stressing me out. I'm just doing what's normal and.
You just
the stream's going. I'm not worried about it.
Oh, no, I wanted to say...
You're worried too much about shit. Just fucking...
Well, like I said...
What do you want to say?
You have to worry about stuff if you want anything to get done correctly.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
It's going to get done... When you got me sitting here, the shit's going to get done correctly. It's going to be just totally spontaneous. Totally spontaneous.
Spontaneous combustion.
Spontaneous.
Okay, so I got this in the mail the other day. And I wasn't sure what it was because I didn't look at it that closely. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then finally the other day, like a couple days after I got it, I finally fucking looked at it and I was like, oh, duh, now I get it. So it's a spoon. I don't know if you can see it because I tried to put it up to the camera. But look, it says, this fucking, look at the glare. God damn it. It says serial killer.
Yeah.
But, you know, cereal like Captain Crunch or some shit like that. So I'm not really sure who sent that, but that is fucking hilarious. And I'm totally going to eat cereal with that. And probably some other things, too. I could stir my coffee with that. I could do all kind of fun shit
with that. That door opened. Pookie must have knocked it open. That was closed a minute ago.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, you guys, the ghost did it.
Wait, is she in here?
No. She must have just opened it.
And then said, fuck y'all. You're not very interesting.
Yeah.
She does do that. She does.
Right.
She does kind of like go.
Yeah.
And then she just comes in and looks around and she's like, nah. Nothing in here to hold my interest. The poor Pookie, you know what she did the other night? Well, I guess it was yesterday, right? Because it woke me up at like 5 in the morning. She was trying to... Okay, so we have this, it's like a bench thing, like a long black bench. It's kind of velvety, and then like you can lift it up and put shit in it, but you can sit on it. And we have it, it's like right flush to the end of the bed. And Pookie uses that to jump up and down on the bed, you know, so she doesn't have to jump so far. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure if she did it or if you did it or the ghost did it. I don't really know. But I guess it got pulled way out, like from the end of the bed. There she is.
Yeah, she did it again. Cat comes in, changes mind.
What are you doing, Pookie? We're talking about you.
Yeah.
And she was trying to jump, I guess she was trying to jump off of the bed and onto the bench. And she didn't realize that the bench had moved and there was like a big gap there. So I heard, like I heard this big crash and it woke me up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, she fell down.
And then I was like, oh no! I was like, I bet Pookie fell when she was like trying, because I went and there was a big gap. And so I was like looking for her, like feeling for her in the gap and everything, and I couldn't find her. And then I looked under the bed and she was under there just looking at me, and she was just like, she was embarrassed. She didn't get hurt though. It's just her pride.
So, next week, or not next week, but this Saturday, we got a show. Do they know what show's coming?
Well, everybody on Patreon already knows, so
Okay.
you can probably spoil it. Because
Right.
I usually tell, what I do is, when the polls, for the topics and shit close on Sunday at noon, I usually just put it all up. So if you're on Patreon, you always know, like, Sunday, like, a few minutes after noon, like, what the shows are going to be for that week, like, what the movie's going to be, and what the topic is going to be for the next week. So, so all the patrons already know, so I guess it's, like, fine.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing more cult shit.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to talk too much about Heaven's Gate tonight, because then we won't have any shit to talk about on the show. Yeah. But I was just telling him before we came on, I was like, Heaven's Gate, I feel better, like, making fun of that, because, or, like, making jokes on that show, because at least those people, as far as I know, chose to do that shit. It wasn't a thing where, hey, we can't leave, or, hey, we're squirting poison down our kids' throats, or anything like that. It was all people that were like, hey, let's get on the UFO and let's castrate ourselves, and
Yeah, that's some weird shit.
Whatever, man, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, it was interesting. I was watching, if you guys don't know about Bailey, what's her name? Bailey Sarian. She does Murder and Makeup Mondays. She is super cute. I love her. And so she does all different true crime cases, and she talks about them like kind of the way we do, like in a kind of jokey, like sarcastic way, but she's like probably more fact-based, like while she does her makeup, and it's super, super funny. And I was watching her thing on Heaven's Gate today too, and she was kind of talking about, when she got to the end, it was one thing that, we kind of talk about this a lot, because we talk about Scientology and all that kind of crap, but, I mean, at what point do people that are in a cult, it's like, can you like go in there and get them out like against their will? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're an adult and you for real want to like join that shit, why you turn it up? Everybody
I turned it up
okay.
just a little bit. No, you couldn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Let me do it.
Well,
Let me do some shit.
It's different.
I see the control. I turned it up a little bit.
Okay, yeah, it just says vaporwave right there. That's the volume thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up a little bit louder.
Yeah.
I'm checking. I got the monitor.
Yeah.
I got the monitor right here. I'm monitoring it.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should close that door again, even though Pookie will probably just like pop it open. It's like I don't like the changing light type of shit. I don't like having all these factors out of my control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's upsetting for me. But I'm just saying how, like the shit that I said that we always say about Scientology, I was like, well, if you're a fucking grown up and you're dumb enough to like go join that shit, like on purpose, then I don't know. Like I said, it's really got to be bad before I think anybody really has kind of a right to go in there and drag your ass out.
Jenny sees things in a different light than I do. I can understand how they'll take that a cult can find somebody who's kind of doesn't have anything. You know what I mean? They don't really have much of an identity. They don't really have a whole lot going on for them. Maybe they don't have a whole lot of money, and they need a group to protect them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I can see
with
that.
This group, right? And then the group, typically what they do is they kind of love bomb you.
Yeah.
Where all they do is they just make you feel like you're super welcome. And then they slowly kind of build up this belief system in you. And then once they got you on that, then there's kind of like an inter-cult social dynamic. Basically a bunch of virtue signaling and who's going to out-cult someone else. Who's a true believer.
I can out-cult your ass.
I'll out-cult your ass. And then they become kind of like true believers, And then they're all vying for higher positions inside the cult. And it could even get to the point to where the leader of the cult says we're all gonna fucking, you know, drop our bodies and go link up with the fucking UFO, you know, in the tail of the fucking head.
That always makes me think of like some fabulous like 40s actors throwing off a fur coat. I don't know why I always have that.
So they might actually talk about that for a long, long time.
Oh yeah.
They kind of like internalize it. It becomes like role playing. But this is just all cults. Scientology's like that.
I know.
And then it gets down to the point to where they start pushing one another to actually do shit. I'm pushing you, they start pushing each other. And then once they break through boundaries, once they do something and then all of a sudden it frees up, they're actually doing things. And, you know, Scientology's been doing things for fucking decades. Fair gaming people. They've probably killed people.
It would not surprise me. I'm not going to say that because they'll sue me.
There's no proof.
But
maybe they have. I don't know.
It wouldn't shock me if I found that out.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me
That's
either.
all I'm saying.
But they're definitely fair game. They're definitely fair gaming people. Definitely locking people up in the hole. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if some people turned up missing. You know, but I don't think there's any complaints of missing people. But a lot of shit that happens in cults stays in cults. They never go to the authorities because they don't see the authorities as legitimate.
Yeah.
They're like, oh fuck, that's the American court system. Fuck that. You know what I mean? We got our own court system. It's a lot better.
Well, Scientology does. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
I mean, they try to handle everything.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, in the Scientology shit, it even says right in the thing, that's one thing that makes you an SP is if you report anything that's going on or you report another Scientologist, whoever they are, to outside authorities, that immediately gets you branded as an SP. So that's another like reason not, you know, not for people to go against the fucking rules. I'm just, you know, it's like I know intellectually how people get sucked into cults. I've read a lot of books about them. It's like I read about the psychology of it. I read, you know what I mean? It's just I know. It's just I don't feel that way. So it's kind of like it's just at one remove for me. So it's kind of hard for me to relate to being so like wanting to belong to something like that so badly. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it, but I don't feel like that.
It's real common.
Like I said, I'm not a joiner by any stretch of the imagination, so
I don't know.
I can understand maybe why other people are, but I don't feel like that, so it's kind of hard for me to like emotionally relate to
everything
people
kind of
like
has
that.
everything kind of has a cult element to it, or cult kind of feel to it. It depends on how you look at it. I mean, even academia is very cultish. You know, I mean, just people want to be good, and if you want to be good, you want to be seen as good, then that means you're going to end up. It make you a very good prospect for a cult or some kind of a group. That includes things that aren't considered cults, like, you know, organizations, corporate organizations, like in academia.
I don't even know if it's people wanting to be good as so much wanting to belong. Because some cult, well, it depends on the cults. Because like I said, when we talked about the Jim Jones one, I can totally see, and when you talk about Scientology to a lesser extent, like before people knew like what a fucking scam it was. But prior to that, I mean, Jim Jones' church was actually doing good shit back then. It's like, you know, we are helping the poor. We are, you know, building houses for, you know, homeless people. We are doing shit like that. So I can see how you could get sucked into something like that because it's something that is tangible. You know, you're doing good things and you feel good about yourself. That's fine. It's just that when it gets to a point where shit goes off the rails, you're not allowed to question anybody anymore, you're not allowed to leave, you can't talk to your family anymore because they're not in it. It's, you know, it's a fine line.
That's how Scientology gets people, though, you know.
Yeah.
Wanting to help.
Although they're not helping shit, though.
They are all saying that, you know, when they start, well, I joined Scientology because I wanted to help. I wanted to make a difference in life. And I'm like, I'm kind of always suspect of people that actually have that attitude. I want to help, you know.
No, I mean, people should want to help, but it's like there's way many other ways to help than joining fucking Scientology. I'm like, seriously, just donate some money to a food bank. You're helping, okay? It's like you don't have to join anything. You don't have to do nothing like that.
some of that I want to help attitude is in a way kind of like arrogance, like as if you could help. The world's an awful fucking big place. You know what I mean? You can help people that you know.
Well,
you
that's
can help
why
people within several.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
why it's better to just like help people in your own community.
Yeah.
It's like it may seem like nothing to you,
Right.
but it's important to that person. And if everybody does that in their own communities, like, hey, I'm gonna donate so we can build a library. Hey, I'm gonna give money. You know, if everybody does that type of shit, or a lot of people do that kind of shit, then everything will get better. You don't have to like try to save the whole entire world. You're just one person.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You know, the point is that no, that's not what they want. The I want to help thing in terms of the Scientology, they want to help clear the fucking planet.
Well, yeah,
they
want
to help clear the fucking planet at $30,000 a head.
But they're nutcases.
All right,
though.
so what the fuck are you talking about? You want to help? Fuck out of here. Crazy.
Well, and then the thing about it, and even like fucking Tom Cruise has said this shit too, where they've gotten to such a point that now they think they're the only ones that can help, or they're the only ones that are equipped to like help people out. Like
they
Tom
see
Cruise
an accident, they're the first one on the scene. Fuck the paramedics, we got Scientologists here.
Yeah, we're gonna
give
like,
it a motherfucker a touch assist. Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? It's like not gonna like Pookie looked at me like, what was that noise?
Well, you know, he's saying this to the cult. That was in a cult advertisement, cult propaganda.
I mean,
so
that whole thing
has
is
to toe that line.
Yeah, it's one big circle jerk.
It sounds like fucking total lunacy to a civilian, non-Scientologist. But to them, that was exactly what they want to hear.
Well, yeah.
Like, we're the only effective fucking people on the planet. Bitch, you're on the Sea Org. You're working all the time. You're trying to smoke as much as you can to avoid cancer. There's all kinds of fucking weird shit.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
make it stronger.
I love, to be honest,
Build
I
up
love
resistance to cancer.
Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
But we love like Leah Remini's show because I love that she got out of it, and I mean she was raised in it from a kid, you know what I mean? Because her mom was in it and got her involved when she was real young. She was like, how old was she when she got in? 10, 12, something like that. She was a kid. And then she managed to get out, and, you know, she has the balls to just, like, actually go after them and call them out on their bullshit, which I think is awesome. But she's also, on her show, she's real open about how she felt and how she got sucked into this shit. And she does really say, she's like, you go to those big fucking, if you've seen them on YouTube, because somebody, like, leaked them or whatever, if you go to, like, their big, you know, jerk-off, whatever, like, fake Oscars or whatever the fuck it is that they do, where they give people, like, medals and all that whatnot. Yeah. And everybody has to go to it, or there's like a lot of pressure on you to go to it. And she's like, all they do that whole time is just talk about how many new orgs they built, how many new people they recruited. And she's like, and it's all bullshit because they'll be like, oh, we got this many new, I don't even know if they call it recruits. They use some little bullshit weaselly kind of words where there's basically like, well, we handed out flyers to this many people, you know, not saying that 99.99% have just like chucked them in the fucking garbage like 2 seconds after that. They're just saying that, so they're like claiming all of the people that they handed a flyer to in the streets of every country around the world as outreach. Their I can't remember the phrase that they used, but I thought it was very funny because it was obvious that they didn't want to say that they recruited those people because those people were just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, they're asking. Tila was asking if Scientology did outreach, like community outreach. Yeah, they do. And boy, called. Who was that?
But they're not
Trevor.
Not really very helpful.
I think his name was Trevor. What they do is they have kind of what do they call this shit? He mentioned it.
They got what?
Volunteer ministries.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. They got those yellow shirts that says that shit on the back.
If there's ever a fucking a disaster, they send out volunteer ministries. All right. Which is the fucking wackiest shit you've ever seen. It's a bunch of Sea Org members. Mm-hmm. They call them volunteer ministers in this circumstance. Normally they're just slaves, unloading boxes, fucking sweeping floors, staffing orgs, building shit. They don't fucking pay them, all right? Normally that's what they're doing. If something like a Katrina happens, they'll round up a bunch of them and goes, you guys are now all volunteer ministers. Put these t-shirts on. It says volunteer ministers on.
Go touch some people.
You've spoiled it. No comedic timing. So, they send them to the fucking, disaster zone. All right? They get there. They set up tents. They have all this fucking emergency relief looking equipment. They're in fucking orange fucking vests or just whatever. They look like they're fucking paramedics, right? And what do? They take fucking disaster victims and they put them on these cots and give them something called touch assist, which is not even a massage. It's just they just touch them in special places. So the fucking what do you call it? Their OT powers, their operating thetans. They can use spiritual energy of some sort, space spirits, to fucking make them feel better. And then they give them a brochure about Scientology and try to get them to join. And they get fucking credit with the IRS somehow by saying that they did disaster relief.
Yeah, and
Spiritual
basically
disaster,
all they did, they're
shit.
like,
That's all it is.
Okay, so you just lost your home and your entire family, and
Give you
Katrina.
a touch assist, and here's your
Does this make you feel better?
Yeah, make you feel. Here, this will take it out. And then,
Go me.
Yeah, the volunteer ministers are touching you, getting your.
Yeah, I don't want any Scientologists touching me in special places. You know what I'm saying?
They're trying to get those engrams out of you. Those fucking were they engrams?
God damn it! I can't even remember
that. What is it, an engram or is it a thetans? No.
Wait,
I think
what?
they're the
Yeah,
evil
aren't
soul, the evil alien souls that are attached to your soul. Are they called engrams?
I thought they were. Yeah.
I think they are, right?
I get the mythology confused sometimes because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Actually, I think you have to fucking become a clear and then go up through like OT 1, 2, 3, and 4 to get rid of engrams. So, but they can. So touch assist doesn't get rid of them. It's probably just like it relieves stress or pain. All right, and then they get up and then they give them a fucking brochure. And then they take all the statistics from that, how many touch assists they did, how many brochures they handed out, how fast it was to fucking set up all the cots, all that fucking bullshit. And they send all that shit back to the Church of Scientology where it's recorded, meticulously recorded and fucking filed away, on paper probably, in filing cabinets. That way it takes up as much space as possible. Besides, they do exactly what LRH told them to do back in the 60s and the 50s. Nothing's changed. They still use telex machines because LRH told them to send out telexes every morning for the reports. So it's got to be telex. Can't be email. Can't be a message on fucking Messenger or Facebook. It's got to be a telex. Fucking ridiculous.
Which, like, people don't even know what the fuck that is anymore.
Yeah.
Where do they even get that? I'm sure, like, the people that make the fucking telex machines, that's their only client.
Telex was even pre... That was
pre-fax machine.
Pre-fax machine.
It's like a fax machine, but it's like a proto-fax machine. Almost, it's not like a mimeograph, is it?
Yeah.
Remember those?
No. It came out through a telephone.
Yeah, that's right. So it is like a fax.
It's like a fax.
Yeah.
You took the phone receiver and you put it on a machine, and the signal would come through, and it would fucking print it out, type it out. Yeah. That's how
Filthy Gardener said complimentary hand job for surviving an earthquake. Right? That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
and I'm like, look, it's like I just survived a disaster. I don't want some fucking weird stranger touching me.
So read what Tila said about the scab.
So when I pulled that scab off the leg of the Jehovah's Witness when I was a year old, I was actually doing the touch assist without that.
Kind of like a touch assist. Fucking fun. Well, everybody knows exactly what it is. It's something that they can offer for free. And they can go to a place where there's a disaster and they can hand out brochures and make it look like they did something to the IRS and it didn't cost them anything.
Yeah, it's low effort. Low cost.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like, not to be an asshole, but it's just like offering thoughts and prayers to people. It's like, literally, that's the least you could do. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost you anything. No time, no nothing. Yeah. It's just kind of like, but it makes you feel better like you actually fucking did something, even though you didn't do anything. So I kind of feel like, I mean, at least they go there, but they only go there to promote Scientology. They don't give a shit about the people that survived Katrina. No. They don't give a shit about that. They just want to, like, pass the brochures out and get more people.
Yeah, but they're doing that. They pass those brochures out and they don't get more people. But they...
Well, no, because everybody just probably goes...
Yeah, the reason why they pass the brochures out is that helps with their tax-exempt status because it makes them look like a religion.
Yeah, because they're doing religious shit.
Everything that they do, pretty much, I'd say probably 90% of everything the Church of Scientology does, they do it to keep that tax-exempt status.
Yeah.
They keep buying fucking buildings because they have to.
Yeah.
because they can't hoard money. They have to spend it back into the church because it's supposed to be kind of like a church or a charity. So they can't just let their damn bank account expand. They got to
much as they might want to.
They just got to keep buying buildings and buildings and buildings. And the more buildings they have, the same thing the Catholic Church does probably. The more buildings they have, the more space they take up, the more they can say they're a religion.
Well, and they really,
nonprofit.
Miscavige really hits that hard too with their little fake Oscar ceremonies or whatever. Yeah. And he sounds just like he sounds like a game show host or some shit. Like every time, it's fucking hilarious if you want to go to. And then we did this other thing, and and he's
5,000 fucking Thetans.
Yeah, it's like it's that kind of shit.
70,000 touch assists.
And I'm like, if you were not like people that are not in Scientology, you listen to it and it sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
It sounds like a parody. It doesn't sound like anything that anyone not even a child would believe that shit.
This year, 30,000 people reached clear. We have fucking 9 million new members. They're like 9 million new members this year? It's fucking shrinking.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It sounds like some cheesy fucking game show from like the fucking 70s or something.
Actually, you know what it sounds like? A sales convention.
Like I said, it sounds like a cheesy game show from the 70s.
Like from magazine sales or vacuum cleaner sales, how much the company expanded. It's very, very corporate. This actually gets back to some of the shit that I've said during the shows. World War II really fucked America up, and part of it was the merger of fucking state powers and corporate powers. The military trying to be like a corporation. Well, L. Ron Hubbard was involved in the military becoming a corporation. He was in World War II. So he decided that, you know what, religions have to become corporations. And fucking Scientology is a religion, but it's more of a corporation.
Oh yeah, big time.
Kind of like Amway.
I think that's a very close equivalent.
Very much like Amway. And it just shows how corporate culture and corporate thinking in the end destroys everything. Their corporations and the bullshit that they say and do and the bullshit that they spend money on, it's destroying the earth. It will eventually. People in the 20s and the 30s were terrified of corporations. Mussolini. Fascism, okay, was a part of socialism. Started off as socialism, but the Italian version of it that Mussolini and all his boys were involved in was, I forgot the name of their particular kind of fascism. It's fascism, but it's the fascism where everyone is in some kind of a union, and the unions all kind of, I guess you could say, kind of like throne sniff the fucking head of a government, like an emperor, and that emperor passes things out to these unions, and the state is become basically a union and a corporation at the same time, and they called it fascism, the merger of state and corporation into a single thing. And that's what the Chinese model is. It's very much what the German National Socialists, which like the Nazis, they were kind of like that. They had a slightly different interpretation. The Soviet Union was a lot like that, but a little bit of a different interpretation. It was an international version of that. Man, I hate to tell you, you know what I mean? A lot of the United States is starting to look like Mussolini's fascism in a certain way. Corporations have just kind of merged with the state and the military. And it's very dangerous. Because what you end up with eventually is just feudalism, basically. Because it doesn't protect human rights. But Scientology is what happens when the corporate mentality meets the religious world. It becomes a very abusive.
And it's so weird. And like I said, I've read more L. Ron Hubbard than I ever thought that I would in my entire life, just because of that stuck fucking shithole that I worked at. Agent Media Corporation. That's what it was. I don't know. It's probably not there anymore. It was in Clearwater. And like I said, I think I've mentioned this before, but the first half hour of every workday, you spent in the classroom on the first floor.
Yeah.
Reading L. Ron Hubbard's shit about business. They couldn't put all his like Scientology shit in there but they could say, well, we think that he, knew everything there was to know about running a business, so we can talk about his business ideas. So I did the communication course. I did all his like businessy shit. So we did all of that, and even reading that, I don't know, man. It was just, it's hard. It was a long time ago, so it's like hard for me to remember. But I just remember reading it and being like, one, this dude's a lunatic, and two, he's not a very good writer either. But also, it's like he seemed to really think, or at least he was trying to make other people believe, that growth could be infinite.
Yeah, no, it can't.
Yeah, I'm like, you do know there are like limitations to shit, right? It's like he really didn't seem to grasp that concept.
He's getting that from corporations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was very corporate. Very corporate.
Where sales figures have to be at least higher than they were last week.
Mm-hmm.
They must be. If not, then heads will roll and people will be fired.
Yeah.
They only want people that can increase sales figures
every
fucking week.
Yeah.
So if you sold 10 last week, you got to sell 11 this week. And then 12 next week. And if that doesn't happen, you're fired.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah,
and you had to, every single, like I said, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but every single job, it was called a hat, for fuck's sake. Because you wear the hat of your job.
I got to check the mail real quick.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm waiting on that power cube.
Oh, that's right. He's got a package. He's got a package coming. So we have so many charging cables, and they all seem to be like breaking, but they're cheap ones. But yeah, so everyone's hat, you had your own fucking like a little binder or whatever that said what your duties were. I said duty, and so and it said like what your. It pretty much assigned every single task a point value, essentially. So every single week, you couldn't just do your fucking job and go home. You had to do your fucking job, and then you had to say, oh, okay, today I did this many corrections, I did this many, this, that, and the other, and then you had to add up all your points. So we learned very quickly that every week, I think it was Monday morning, like you'd have the big meeting, and they would take all of your stats from Friday, and they would have a graph printed out of if you were up stat or down stat. And if you were up stat, they would say, hey, here's Jenny's thing, and she's up stat this week. Everyone would clap. And if you were down stat, everyone would not clap, and they would just, like, look at you.
Yeah, it's just like
judgment.
a sales
right,
convention.
So everybody very quickly that wasn't a Scientologist learned to just, like, make up
your stats.
Your stats. Because why wouldn't you? They're not going to check. Fuck off.
They do that exact same thing in North Korea, Maoist China, the old Soviet Union. Every day there was self-criticism, and you also had to fill out forms every fucking day at your work to do that, to constantly keep production high.
Yeah, it's like, I already got to work here. Why I got to do all this stupid extra shit? It's so pointless.
When the state becomes a corporation, that's what you have to deal with. But, hey, look, today, at part of the element of this show is it's interactive. So it's kind of like an open lines show. So if you have any questions for us, or you have any ideas, like if you want to know about ghosts, or you want to know about any kind of certain case,
we'll answer anything.
Chances are me and Jenny know about it.
Within reason.
If not, we'll just go to another one.
Although I can't really think of anything that I wouldn't answer. Although I'm sure someone will probably come up with something.
Yeah. Well, there's some shit we fucking wouldn't know.
Well, that too. I'm just saying, like, if somebody wanted to ask questions, like, about me personally, or you personally, it's like I could...
I tell a bitch to fuck off.
Well, no, I'm just saying I don't really have any shame, so I don't really know if, like, anybody could ask me anything that would offend me or anything like that. That's what I'm saying.
Those charging cables, it says they're out for delivery. So
well,
some... 6 and 9.
Oh. Is it FedEx?
No, it was Amazon.
Oh. Yeah, sometimes. Well, they come late sometimes.
Yeah.
I usually get. I mean, if Amazon brings shit to the door, I usually just get a little pop up on my computer. Isn't this a great time to be alive? I get a little pop up and they send me a picture. They're like, "Look, the shit's on your doorstep. There it is."
Somebody asked me, Tom, have you played Outer Worlds? It's like Fallout, but in space. No, I've never heard of it. Sounds good.
Fallout in space.
Actually, I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5. That's what I've been playing right now. And that and the new Star Wars... Is it like an X-Wing? I forgot what it was called. Star Wars. It's the flying game. It's just you just fly around.
Star
fly
Wars,
around and fucking
the
shoot
flying
shit.
game.
I like to fly. I like flying
know
games.
all there is to know.
Some people don't like flying games. I like flying games of fighter pilot type.
Mango has a question. Tom, do you use a food processor when you're cooking?
No.
We have a Ninja.
Yeah, that's just for making smoothies and shit.
But, well, the only thing that we usually
Cutting
make in
onions
it...
Sometimes
if we're making Indian food, like we smush up like onions and nuts and stuff like that to make a base like for curries and shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't really use it that much.
Yeah, no.
I make iced coffee in it every now and then. Like squish up the ice like a Frappuccino.
Yeah, if you're trained cook, then you just use a kitchen knife. You have good knife skills, so you can dice, chop, julienne. You can do all that just by hand. You don't really need. I don't need a food processor. But if I'm going to do something like puree a bunch of sautéed onions into a paste, used for a thickening agent. For Indian food, you're just going to use like a food processor. I like that. I use a Ninja for that. It'll turn it into like the consistency of applesauce.
Yeah.
But it's onions.
Someone asked if you could fist fight any animal, what animal would you fight?
If I could fist fight any animal, what animal?
Any animal?
Am I trying to get a good fight, like a good, even, fair
cockroach?
fight? Or am I trying to just win? Or,
I win.
Or am I trying to die? If you want to fist fight an animal and have a good fight where either one of you could win, it'd be a fucking kangaroo.
Well, yeah, that seems the obvious
answer. They can
answer.
fucking fight, yeah. They'll stand up
and then
fight.
maybe bear or a second one.
Yeah.
Or a chimpanzee.
No, a chimp would fuck you
They
up.
could kick your ass.
Only if you'd have to muzzle the chimp so it couldn't bite you. They could bite a hand off right at the wrist.
Or your scrote.
A lot of bite pressure. So it's not a fair fight.
Because don't the chimps, I mean, a male chimp will go right for your fucking scrotum.
It'll do anything. Bite your face off, just whatever it can get.
Yeah, like that one I found out.
But in terms of like a fair fight, a kangaroo.
I feel like a kangaroo would fight. Well, like I said, if I could fist fight any animal, I'm gonna fist fight one that I could like whip their ass, obviously. And an animal that I don't like, so I pick a cockroach.
Well, that's not a fair fight though. Yeah, outmatched.
Well, that wasn't the question.
Yeah, I thought he was asking what would be the most fair fight. It would probably be a fucking kangaroo.
Plus, I wouldn't want to hurt a kangaroo because they're super cute.
No, I've seen fucking videos of kangaroos running up on guys and just start fucking whipping ass on a dude.
Well, they're still cute.
For no reason. No, they
don't care. They don't like people.
No, they don't like people. The males evidently kind of go into rut, and if they see anything they don't like, they attack it. Because there's females in the area.
Males of every species are a menace. They're a menace.
Yeah. That's just the way it is.
You know what's weird? I was thinking about that lady that the chimp bit her face off the other day. I don't know. I don't remember why I was thinking about it.
Somebody wanted to see me to recreate a famous $6 million man battle where a $6 million man fights Bigfoot. Remember Bionic Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Yeah, and fucking $6 million man ripped off fucking Bionic Bigfoot's arm. He took it back to Oscar. Oscar, look what I found. He goes, oh, it's a Bionic Bigfoot. Yeah.
Like, what the
some
fuck?
Of you guys
we didn't make this.
Some of you people, some of you kids are not old enough to remember the fucking $6 million man. But I used to love that fucking program when I was a kid. We used to fucking, this is like when I was in the third grade, I think. We used to fucking make the $6 million man sound effect while we were doing shit. Bum, 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 bum.
Well, yeah, I still do that nowadays.
And then when
sometimes.
we would run in slow motion and go, nah,
yeah,
nah, nah,
yeah. Well, me and my brother did that too.
Running in slow motion meant you were going fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going so fast that people can't even like conceive
so fast,
it. So you gotta slow it down.
Yeah.
That was a Mystery Science Theater skit too, where Mike, I think it was a Mike episode, but Mike gave the bots $6 million man sounds. So every time they moved, they were like, yeah. And they were delighted and started jumping around, and then he got annoyed and had to turn it off.
Somebody said that they're gonna send us a package with some CDs and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh boy,
okay.
I love packages.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have anything that'll like blow up or dead rats or anything in it.
Nobody ever sent us anything bad. Everybody sent us good shit.
I know.
Yeah.
But you know, there's always one.
Oh man. So.
Somebody asked if we had watched, I guess, was it Netflix, you guys? I guess Netflix just added a new documentary about the original Night Stalker or the Night Stalker. That's what, because you guys are saying Night Stalker, but I don't know.
There's 2 Night Stalkers.
That's what I mean. There's
Yeah.
Night Stalker and there's original Night Stalker. It was that D'Angelo bitch.
Yeah, D'Angelo was the original. But nobody knew that until recently.
Well, yeah, because they didn't catch him till much later.
I called it, man. I figured that bitch out.
I can't believe they finally caught that bitch.
Yeah, I figured that bitch out.
I'm so happy. I was so happy. Well, I mean, you know, it took him forever, but, you know, what are you going to do? I thought it's weird because...
I could imagine what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd have to be a cop or a soldier. But I was thinking a cop.
Yeah.
I think he was a little bit... wasn't he a Marine before he was a cop?
I think he was in the Marines. He was in the Marines, wasn't he?
I think he was.
Now I can't remember. But yeah, he was all up in that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a cop. And, yeah. As I said, cops are kind of like, overrepresented in serial killers.
Well, there's a lot of cops.
Well, I know that. I'm not saying that
Right.
that ergo all cops
Yeah.
are serial killers. That's obviously a stupid
Right.
statement. I'm
Yeah,
just
they
saying
got people
that
that would interpret it that way.
right, but yeah, but I can't
You have to compensate for stupidity out there.
I can't do that because like some people are just so stupid that I can't. Thank you, Mango. Oh my god. Great to have the Sidetracks back, even better live. Flashbulb
Hey, thanks,
time.
fucking Badger. What's up, bro?
Thank you.
Showing us them
you.
flash bulbs.
This is actually pretty fun because I don't...
It's a little more of a free-flowing show.
Because it's weird, like every time we kind of stop talking, I'm like, oh, I should go back to my notes. And then
There's
I'm like,
no notes.
oh yeah, I don't have any notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, yeah, it
Cop.
just seems like you can't even make a statement like, oh, cops are overrepresented in serial killers because some idiot somewhere will be, well, you're saying all cops are serial killers. I'm like, that's obviously not what I said. I'm just saying that among serial killers, which is already a vanishingly small percentage of the population, that, you know, cops is not number one, I don't think. I think
truck drivers
drivers is number one, or it's in the top 5. I remember, it was shit like, it was cops, truck drivers, what the fuck?
Probably unemployed.
No. Mechanics.
That's just working class
people
stuff.
like forest rangers.
Yeah.
I think that was in the top 5 also. It was jobs like that.
Okay.
It wasn't anything like, you know, it wasn't doctors or lawyers or nothing like that. But it could just be that serial killers that are doctors and lawyers are too smart to get caught, too.
Yeah, well, they
Maybe.
get caught. Some of them are kind of like Angels of Mercy type.
That's what I was thinking of because we
It's
did a
not
show
quite the
about that.
same. No, I don't think it's the same kind of guy.
It's it's a different pathology, that is.
The problem with you got to say this. Serial killers and criminals are attracted to power. They want to go where power is. They'd probably like to be in politics. That's where the real power is, power and money. But most of them don't have the background that it takes to make it in politics. So they end up trying to go to places kind of like the military But, you know, the military probably wouldn't be very satisfying because a lot of serial killers had a military background, but they didn't do anything while they were in the military.
Yeah, they were in there a few years and then they got out.
And it's because you're not free in the military. You're just not. All right? So the next choice would be, well, let's be a cop. Well, in a cop, when you're a cop, you have a lot more freedom. You know what I mean? A lot less supervision. So you can really fuck up as a cop. All right?
Yeah, obviously.
And being a cop, and I'm not saying this against the cops. I've worked with cops. There's a lot of good cops that I know. Unfortunately, I haven't fucking spoken to any cops in a long time, but man, today the environment right now is not a pro-cop environment. So good guys will not be wanting to join the police force right now. Which that's bad, because the only guys that would want to join it right now are fucking either losers or bad dudes. Law enforcement is a fucking not an old profession, really. It's, well, as we know it now. All the fucking police forces that you have right now have a corporate nature to them, just like everything else. It's not originally the way cops were. Originally, they were just like out in the old west. You know, you had a sheriff and he hired guys. They were kind of like a posse more than anything else. And they could have been train robbers before they were cops. They didn't, you know, men of action are men of action.
Yeah, they're just like, whatever.
They don't give a fuck.
Came to the new town. It's
okay.
Just shoot the people we want you to shoot.
Yeah, right. It's, people try to moralize this shit too much, and the world doesn't really work that way. So the same kind of guy who was robbing a train a couple states over says, you know what, I don't want to rob trains anymore. I want to fucking be a sheriff. I want to be a lawman. I'm gonna try my hand at that. And here's the weird thing. That didn't necessarily mean that the guy would be a bad cop. Probably be a real good cop.
People are complicated.
Because now he knows exactly how an outlaw is going to think because he was one. But in pop culture, on the theater, who else was like that? Who else was like that?
I don't know.
Axel Foley. Axel Foley. He said, "Well, I wasn't always a cop." He had hoodlum friends and shit. Sometimes those kind of guys make a pretty good cops. You don't want a Boy Scout up there all the time because that motherfucker's soft. All right. So, I'm not sure exactly where I was going with all this because I'm fucking drinking. But,
wait, where was I going with that?
Because of the way shit's going now, fucking, I think everything's going to become a lot more local. All right. And less corporate. And one of the things that's really going to suffer is fucking the law enforcement as a business. I think the future of law enforcement is going to look a lot like the past of law enforcement. It's going to go back to what it looked like in the 20s probably, which is not good. Because a cop in the 20s in the United States was more like a mall cop. They didn't do anything. They didn't do nothing. All right. Civilization's a fragile system. And that's the way it was in Brazil when I was there. There were about 3 different kinds of cops. A city cop, which was like a fucking mall cop. A state cop, which was just like a mall cop with a little bit better weaponry. Then there was the military police, which was the army. And because Brazil at that time had just come out of a military dictatorship, the only reliable police force they had was the army. And it was still unreliable. Who actually ran the show were ex-military militias and drug cartels. They actually ran the streets, not the cops. And is that a bad situation? Yeah, it's a bad situation. Was it fun? Fuck yes, it was fun. Fuck yes, it was fun. I love Brazil. It was, in the time that I was there, it was anarchy. You could do whatever you wanted. But you had to be careful because you could do whatever you wanted. It was like the Old West.
If he gets up, we all get up. It'll be anarchy.
It'll be anarchy. Yeah, anarchy actually,
that was the Breakfast Club, you guys. In
the 80s when I was there, the Brazilian government was only for the rich people. It was only for the rich people and the government. It was the purpose of the government was to protect the government and the rich people that supported the government. Everybody else, fuck them. That was the thinking. They weren't team players. They didn't have anything. They weren't useful. So they were just on their own. And why? Because it was a collapsed system. It was anarchy. You know. And why? Because it was illegitimate, basically. It was fake. When people don't believe in the legitimacy of a government, it just kind of falls apart. It doesn't really go Mad Max like a lot of people think it does. It continues to function. People still work. It's just that there's no real law and order, and nobody really cares. The only thing I didn't like about Brazil is that the ruling class controlled everything. And they didn't want importation. They wanted everyone to be a captive audience buying their products. So you couldn't buy anything from overseas. Even to this day, it's hard to buy something overseas in Brazil.
Well, yeah, because
they want to force you to buy their lame ass shit.
We want all the money.
They wanted all the money.
Well, yeah, if you have a monopoly, then it doesn't matter what kind of crap you shit out.
Yeah,
so everybody got to buy it.
They would just shit out some shitty shit and fucking make everybody buy that shitty shit. And you're like, man, I want the good product from fucking Japan or fucking this is just shitty, you know. But no drinking age. That place was just sexy as fuck. It just was.
Everyone with their big booties.
Just big booties and fucking just everybody having a good time. And
I think that's all Tom cared about, really. Yeah. He could just drink and follow big booties around.
Yeah. Well, one of the things is that when a country declines into fucking anarchy and poverty, the ruling class realizes that the only way they can maintain control is to make everybody happy. So they just allow booze and drugs and just everything to just flow.
Yeah, it's
They
just
don't
like, everybody
care.
just shut
You guys
up.
just stay high, have a party, and shut the fuck, leave us alone. And, it kind of divides into two worlds. An upper world and a lower world. Kind of like that Star Trek, what was that Star Trek episode where they had people living in the clouds and other people fucking down in the damn mines?
I know what you're talking about.
It's like that. Like that.
Well, and it's kind of like the Time Machine, too, with the Eloy and the
Eloy and
Morlocks.
yeah, right.
Okay, so people are asking favorite non-horror movie. Mulholland Drive. David Lynch.
Favorite non-horror movie.
And also they're asking favorite comedy, which is hard. Ghostbusters or Young Frankenstein? For me. Wow, I didn't have to think about that. Favorite non-horror movie and favorite comedy. Or maybe Clue. God damn it. Okay. I'm not a big fan of comedies in general, but I like a lot of, probably Ghostbusters.
I always divide all these favorite movies up into time periods.
Well, it's really,
like
I mean...
old or new ones or classics.
If I had to, like, make a list of, like, my favorite movies, I would have to do it by, like, genre.
Right.
Because it's like, I was like, I can't say that, say, Ghostbusters is a better movie than, like, fucking... The Exorcist. They're two completely different kind of movies.
And like, there's a lot, you're saying comedy, but I like comedies where you can learn a lot of shit. And there's a lot, like Idiocracy is a comedy. I fucking love Idiocracy. But it's also very educational.
It's educational.
But very educational, because there's a lot of truth in it.
I like money.
I like money. You like money? Yeah, I like money.
Isn't Mulholland Drive a horror movie? No. I don't know if I'd call it a horror movie. David Lynch he occupies a weird... liminal space between, I don't know. I don't know what genre I would call that. I would call that maybe a mystery or a thriller, maybe more than a horror movie, although it has a couple of horror movie elements. I don't think I would call it a horror movie.
And then there's another comedy that it's newer that I would consider it my favorite, but I don't even know if it's a comedy. Because it had funny parts to it, but it was also kind of dark and there was a lot of truth to it, and that was Art of Self-Defense.
Oh, that was definitely a comedy.
It's a comedy.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious.
It's a comedy, but it's also kind of like a moral. It also had some moral lessons, and it was
but
also
I have kind of a fucked up sense.
It kind of fucking. All right. It was kind of an examination of fucking what people would call toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's what I thought was so funny.
But the thing is though is that you have to understand who wrote this movie. Okay. The dude who wrote this movie is kind of like the protagonist in the movie. This guy is just fucking soy as fuck. All right, he's not wrong in his observations, but it's just
obviously.
He's not wrong in his observations. It's just something, man. He's not wrong in his observations, but it's funny about what he's talking about. That there is a certain amount of reality to it. But his reaction to it is also funny. To me, the whole motherfucking thing is kind of like, it's kind of meta.
It is, yeah.
But I do like it. He is telling the truth. And to a certain extent. Everything, it's like what Yoda says. Many of the things that we cling to, all right? Many of the truths that we cling to often depend upon a certain point of view. So I can take two opposing point of views at once and appreciate them both. And then still fucking... select one or the other. You know what I mean? I'm not real wrapped up in... I don't want to say like I'm a sociopath or I don't care about right and wrong. It's just...
You kind of are, though.
Maybe I kind of am. I'm just not real wrapped up in right and wrong. I really don't care about what society's view of right and wrong is, because if you look at the average person in society, I just don't... just the average person is just, bleh. So I don't really care, Sometimes, because I know the reality is that sometimes you might have to do something that's wrong, but then it serves a greater good. But the greater good is an opinion, and it's always an opinion. Everything is like a kind of a gray, That's just the way it is.
Well, yeah. I figured that out a long time.
It's just the way it is. But
you know what? My favorite scene in Art of Self-Defense is when... because he's portrayed, I mean, it's an exaggeration, obviously, that he's really, really, like, he doesn't like to leave his house, and he's super awkward and all this other kind of shit. But then he goes, when he starts going to the to Sensei and learning all his lessons and stuff, he goes like 180 degrees in the other direction. So then he's just like in the fucking break room of work, and then that dude just like starts fucking with him, and he just like punches him in the face. It's like, that just fucking cracks me up so much.
The thing is, though, is that the pussy that's getting the instructions, his name is Casey. Okay, his name is Casey. And he's just soy as shit. And his instructor, Sensei, okay, is this other dude who's doing fucking basically criminal shit. Okay?
It is criminal shit.
It's criminal shit, alright? He has gotten kind of strong, but what it turns out later on when you're watching the movie, it turns out that Sensei, his name is Leslie.
Yeah.
Okay? And he was just as soy as Casey when Casey started. So, of course, it's toxic masculinity.
It's that overcompensation
it's a weak man overcompensating.
Yes. That's what I find funny.
Right. And that is the part of the truth of that. Because I've seen that before.
Yeah, because the more you have to go out of your way to go, look how manly I am.
And tough I am, then
everybody
you.
Well, and every woman in the world is immediately like, oh, okay, this motherfucker.
So, but I thought the movie was accurate because it wasn't an attack on masculinity. It was an attack on toxic masculinity. It showed you exactly what toxic masculinity was. A man trying to be more than a man, but he didn't really have the background. He didn't know what being a man was.
And he was doing shit that was just
being a dick.
He was just being a dick. That's not being a man.
No.
That's just being a douche.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're just picking on innocent people for no reason.
No, to get it out of your system.
Right. Which that's, obviously that's not cool.
It's toxic masculinity.
Yeah, like I said. That's why I liked that movie so much, because
it's funny as shit, though.
They really fucking nailed that shit. It's exaggerated, but not that much.
Yeah.
I didn't find it that exaggerated.
Yeah. It wasn't that exaggerated.
I didn't think it was. That's what I mean. I don't think that was
like,
that exaggerated.
Count Dante and the Black Dragon Fighting for Society were like that, pretty much. Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So knowing the history of martial arts and martial artists, I was like, yeah, that's it. Now, the movie does come back and say that what you've seen here is not true martial arts. It's a twisted version of martial arts. But you have to understand, if you really examine martial arts dojos, there were many twisted examples of martial arts dojos. Because the guys running them were fucking charlatans.
Yeah.
They were charlatans, yeah.
Going back to
trying to throw chi balls and shit.
Oh my god,
Dillman.
I love this
Dillman
video
throwing
so
chi
much.
balls. Fucking, well, if you have one toe up and one toe down, it'll counteract the chi ball. If you have your tongue on the other side of your mouth...
Well, don't tell everybody that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Because now you try to do that shit on me, I'm just going to go...
Yeah. All
I
kinds
win.
of fucking crazy shit. Dillman.
Stupid ass. Come on now. It's just... It amazes me, like, the shit people got away with before... Well, I guess people still get away with telling stupid lies nowadays, but... Back then, you couldn't, like, check. Why Zach brought up Hereditary.
Yeah.
Man. I loved that movie so much, you guys. That's probably... If I had to pick my favorite movie the last 5-10 years, it's probably that. But like I said, it's one of those movies because I love horror movies. I still watch them, even though, they don't really give me nightmares anymore or anything like that. But that movie did. And that was the first time that had happened. And even though I was mad at it for doing that, for fucking me up for a couple weeks afterwards, I was happy because I was kind of like, man, it's been since I was a kid when I first saw The Shining.
Yeah.
That made me not want to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That was the first time that had happened, like in my adult life.
All right, well, Tila's asking me what the favorite action movie is. And this is another thing. What is an action movie? I mean, there are some things that...
See, so nebulous.
Yeah, they're like, what is an action movie? There are a lot... A real fucking action movie, all right, would have been some shit like Bloodsport. You could say that's an action movie. Just a ridiculous story of fucking Frank Dux and him fuck... Is that a great movie? No, not really. I mean, it's hilarious when you know the story behind it. I mean, when you say what the favorite action movie would be... there's two of them that immediately come to mind, but then I ask myself, well, is that an action movie? Predator. Is that an action movie? See,
it's action horror.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a monster movie.
It's kind of like a horror military
or sci-fi
movie. Military horror kind of movie. All right?
I don't know.
It doesn't have a lot of the stuff that a major action movie had, which is car chases and buses flipping and shit. The best action movie probably, just in terms of action, would be Terminator 2. But I don't like that movie. I just don't like Terminator 2. Sorry, people. Terminator 1 was a lot better, and that's more like a horror movie.
I liked Terminator 2 when I saw it the first time, but when I watched it again recently, I still liked it, but I didn't like it as much.
It's not that good. I mean,
and it's mostly because of that kid.
It's that kid. Kid ruins it. The tone ruins it. It's very corporate and stale
so 90s.
and 90s. It's just not that good.
And I really...
didn't age well.
I think that was one thing when I say that... I mean, because I'm not saying that there wasn't good shit that came out in the 90s, because obviously there was. There was a lot of good movies came out in the 90s. But I think that there was a lot of shit that came out in the 90s. That whole, like, kid or teenager being, like, a wise-talking smartass. There was a lot of that in the 90s, and I hated that.
Yeah, it was like a fucking...
And Terminator 2 had that in spades.
Yeah, it's like a 90s trope.
You know what I mean? It just had Edward Furlong. It's like, look, I'm like 12 and I'm such a badass.
Yeah.
I'm smoking and I'm like making all these like
and then
slangy kind of. It's like, and that just, I don't know, it gets on my nerves. And it didn't date very well.
Yeah, and then, you know, is Aliens or Alien 2, is that an action movie?
I guess. Alien 1, I would call that a horror movie.
That's a horror movie, right?
Sci-fi horror, I guess. Even though it's more like a horror movie, I think it's more a horror movie. It's a monster movie. It's just aliens.
I would have to say that if Predator is an action movie, then that's my favorite action movie.
That would probably be mine as well.
And
although I don't know, there's a lot.
After that would be Alien 2 or Aliens.
Maybe Aliens would be first. I don't know. Oh, that's hard.
Now there's something about Predator that's just the edit on.
I never get sick of. I mean, I never get sick of Predator, and I never get sick of Aliens.
Right.
Either. I could just watch them over and over. And I think that's something that really goes a long way toward what my favorite movies are still. If I can watch it over and over and not get sick of it, or always find something different in it. This is why, like, I never get sick of The Shining. If you said right now, hey, let's watch The Shining, okay.
Yeah.
I've probably seen it 100 times, and I never get tired of it.
Yeah.
Just never.
Yeah, Tita's going on about T1 and T2. T1 is a superior movie to T2, even though T2 had a bigger budget. And there was a lot more action in it. I saw T1 in the theater when it came out as a kid. We were just fucking blown away. We saw it like a fucking 1,000 times, watching that thing over and over again. And there's not a lot to T1.
But I think that's what makes it work. It kept it simple. It kept it focused.
Right. It was a monster movie.
It was focused on her and him.
Yeah.
It was a chase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it would work again today. It was just part of the time. And then years later, RoboCop came out. I think that might have been 3 years later, and that was
87. I think
that was
the first RoboCop.
Yeah, that was bizarre. We loved RoboCop. RoboCop 1.
Everybody
RoboCop 2
RoboCop.
was okay too. It was.
It wasn't bad.
The same guy that did, he was the same guy that did Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Guy that did that. Yeah, RoboCop 2 was good too. But RoboCop, there was something about RoboCop 1, the timing of it and the tone was perfect for that time. You just, I don't think you're gonna see movies like that anymore. It was another era. You know, movie theaters dominated the fucking dominated the media. No internet. People weren't so jaded when it came to like imagery. Nowadays you could show an image to a kid and the kid there's no effect because they just grew up seeing fantastic graphics and fantastic imagery, and it really has no emotional impact for them. They don't give a shit. Give them a video game, they like it, but
because it's immersive.
Because it's immersive, but a movie they don't really care. Which is, I think, is part of the reason why, all this fucking great reset, let's get rid of movie theaters and AMC and pandemic and all, it's because a lot of these old things that the ruling class depended on to make money went obsolete, so they decided to fucking tank it, I think. I always see some kind of motive there. You know what I mean? I could tell by the theater attendance when we had AMC. What was the name of that? What was the name of that service that we had? We could go see 3 movies a week.
Well, it was.
What was it called?
A-List.
A-List, yeah. Which I liked A-List.
Yeah, I did too.
I loved it. And sometimes there were really good movies on, but man, the theater was pretty dead. It's just the theater culture.
We always went like in the middle of the day, like midweek.
We did
for that very reason, so it wouldn't be crowded.
We did, but I mean, it's not just my imagination because they weren't making very much money and they were complaining about theater attendance. I mean, I was keeping up with this. No, they weren't making money. People weren't seeing them. Unless it was something like, remember when we saw fucking John Wick 3? Bitch was packed.
Yeah, we saw that twice.
Well,
and Avengers Endgame too was like fucking...
It was packed. So
that was sold out.
Some features were just fucking packed. And you knew they were going to be good before you went, too. You know, John Wick was fucking great. John Wick, all 3 of those movies. Or was that a 4 that we saw?
3.
It was 3, yeah.
They haven't made a 4 yet.
They haven't made a 4.
Although I imagine they probably will.
Fucking was awesome.
Tila said she loved the Dario Argento 3 Mothers trilogy. I love the first 2. I only saw Mother of Tears. Can you get me another drink while you're out there?
Yeah. Give it to me.
I mean, since you're going out there.
Yeah.
Check and see where Pookie's at.
All right.
I love Suspiria. One of my favorite horror movies ever. Yeah. Like, no contest. Inferno is great, too. Not as good as Suspiria, but, you know, a worthy successor. I saw Mother of Tears one time on DVD. My ex-husband bought the DVD. Like, this was a long time ago when I was still married. And I watched it, and I remember not loving it. But I'd be willing to give it another shot. I've been meaning, like, the last, few years. I'm like, man, I should really watch Mother of Tears again, because I remember watching it and just not liking it because it seemed like it didn't go with the other 2, because it had been such a long time since they made Suspiria and Inferno, which were only a couple years apart. I just felt like it didn't have the same look to it. It didn't have the same, like, fairy tale kind of surrealist feel to it. I felt like that, but it's been so long since I've seen it that I'm not real sure how I would feel about it now. So I definitely do want to, like, rewatch it, because I do love Suspiria and Inferno so much. And I'd hoped all those years that he was going to make a 3rd movie, like in the 3 Mothers, and then he finally made it. And I don't know if it was just because my expectations were so high, and like I watched it and I was like, nah, that wasn't really what I was hoping for. You know what I mean? And the thing about Dario Argento too, I love Dario, I do, but after, I think the last movie of his that I really liked was Stendhal Syndrome. And when the fuck did that come out? 90s? Early 2000s? The one with Ozzy Argento in it, and like she's chasing thanks.
That shit still isn't here.
Well, maybe they just decided to drive around in the truck and they said, fuck it, I'm going home. It's too late.
They're like, fuck Tom.
Yeah.
Fuck Tom.
He doesn't get his cables today. You'll get them tomorrow. Just calm down.
Hold on, let me see. It said out for delivery. That shit said out for delivery.
Well, like I said, maybe they just drove. I've had that shit happen too, where it says out for delivery, and I feel like they just put it on the truck and then drove around and were like, fuck it, I'm going home. I don't really want to deliver anything today. I'm just going home and going to bed. But yeah, so I think that because I haven't seen, because didn't he make a movie that was just called Giallo? I can't remember what year that was, but I haven't seen that one. But I remember I saw Stendhal Syndrome and I really liked that. And actually I rewatched that probably 2 months ago and I still liked it just as much. That's a good one. But then he started making, like, I saw The Card Player, or Il Carteo, I think it was called in Italian, and I hated it. It was so bad. And then our friend Jana, who's been on the show before, she said, you have to see Dario Argento's Dracula. It's like so terrible. It was Dracula, right? Yeah. She's like, it was so terrible that it went all the way around and became awesome again. So we watched that one night, and it indeed was very terrible. And I was like, man, Dario, what happened to you? Like, between, like, The Card Player, which was, I wouldn't say it was, like, the worst movie ever, but, I mean, it was I don't know. It just wasn't great. It pissed me off, and it's like, I don't know. I just really didn't like it. And after that, I was just kind of like, man, fuck this. I can't believe that somebody that made such fucking classics, like in the 70s and 80s, like has fallen this far or whatever. And even up into the 90s, he made like some good shit. But yeah, so after the card player, I was kind of thing. And then we saw Dracula maybe like a year ago. And I'm like, wow, this is so bad. But it was still pretty entertaining just in how fucking shitty it was. So I don't know. So maybe I was kind of wrapped up in the whole, because I think I saw Mother of Tears after I saw the card player. So maybe the shittiness of the card player kind of tainted my, I don't know, man. Making a third movie in the Three Mothers trilogy, it just seems like that's some big fucking shoes to fill. I feel like if you're gonna do that, you shouldn't have waited that long, one, like until you're like an old person. And then it's so much later that you're not gonna be able to like capture the same feel. You're not gonna be able to, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Something about it just didn't sit right with me, I guess. And the thing about it is that you can totally make a modern day Giallo movie. Shit, we reviewed that movie, The Editor, that came out in 2014. And that was a parody even, but it's like they got so much of the shit right that I just found it completely fucking delightful. So, I don't know. I feel like there's no excuse nowadays. Because there's people making modern day giallos that are like throwbacks to those. I mean, look at shit like The Love Witch and stuff like that. Where they, you know, she made like essentially a 60s Technicolor movie, but it was set in modern times. And so I feel like you could do that nowadays. So, I don't know. If you're going to make the third of a trilogy, I feel like it should all go together. And I just felt like Mother of Tears didn't go with the other two. That's all I'm saying. Because it had been such a long time. But as I said, it's been probably, how long has it been since I've seen it? 10 years? 11 years? It's been a while. So I will definitely watch it again. But I did still like the Stendhal Syndrome. Because I was curious about it. I remember I had the DVD like a long time ago. I don't know what happened to it. It probably got lost when I moved. But I remember liking that one. And then I was like, I saw that it was on Tubi, I think, like a couple months ago. And I was like, oh, I should rewatch that just to see if it's still good. And I watched it and I was like, oh, that is still good. So, you know, he could still make good movies, at least until the 90s. But I feel like after that, the ones that I saw were just not. Although, okay, I will say though that his Masters of Horror episodes were pretty good. Although I will say that the one that he did, I think it was season 1 of Masters of Horror. It was called Jennifer. And it was the one about the woman that was like, she had a weird deformed face, but she was like was she a succubus? She could, even though she looked like that, she could still like suck you into like having sex with her. Like she had a hot body and everything, but her face was all fucked up and deformed. And that was good. And I thought, did he do another one? Did he do Pelts? Help me out here. The one with Meatloaf in it, with the raccoon pelts, and like then he got skinned and shit. Didn't Dario Argento direct that too? Shit, I don't know. I don't have Wikipedia open. I seem to remember that he did Pelts as well, and that was also good. Okay. I did a whole series for my blog where I talked about all the Masters of Horror episodes, and they weren't my favorite ones, but they were still pretty good, you know. I feel like the John Carpenter one, Cigarette Burns, was my favorite one. That's the one that I remember the best. That one and the one with Fairuza Balk in it.
Pookie keeps acting like she wants to go outside, but then she turns away from the door like she wants to go outside inside. Let's go outside, but inside.
Maybe she's mad because it's cold out.
It's cold, yeah.
Although usually she likes that.
I don't know.
She crazy. She wanted to go outside. She specifically likes to go out on the front porch.
The music's gone.
I turned it way down because somebody said it was annoying, but...
Alright.
Like I said, I didn't listen to this whole fucking playlist. Because I didn't have time, so I just kind of...
I'm gonna hook it up with a better playlist, I think.
Yeah, why don't you look at that shit? I got
Show me how to do it, I'll do it.
Well, you don't have to show...
I'll show you what...
You can just point me to it, and I can download it, and then I'll put it on
next
here.
time.
Yeah. That's what this was kind of like a last minute. Because you were like, oh, we should put some music in the background. And I was like, well, shit, now I gotta like fucking look around for that shit.
Okay.
We were talking about, hey, Zach said Fairuza Balk was on an episode of Celebrity Ghost Stories.
Yeah, I remember it.
Did we see that? I don't remember seeing that.
We saw her.
Well, I know we saw her.
Yeah.
We saw her at the horror convention.
Yeah, we worked with her at the convention. She was right behind me. I was getting a cup of coffee. She was right behind me, and
I recognized her immediately.
I didn't recognize her. She was so skinny that I didn't recognize.
She doesn't look all that much different.
I thought she looked a lot different.
I didn't think
she looked really thin to me.
Well,
looked really thin. I didn't recognize her. She was standing right behind me.
Girl's gotta be thin.
Yeah, too thin. Too skinny.
Canny.
Yeah. It's back in the day, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about her. No, back in the day, she had, she was normal proportions. She was cute, but when I saw her later on,
she's super foxy.
She was too fucking skinny.
Yeah, I don't remember her being like inordinately skinny when we saw her, but I wasn't looking at her that hard. Just because I saw her face and I was like, hey, it's Fairuza Balk. But yeah, she was in. We were talking about Masters of Horror. Well, I was talking about it. I don't know about. But she was in one. She was in that one that was what the fuck was the name of that? Pick Me Up. That was the name of that episode. It was two rival serial killers, like a trucker serial killer and a hitchhiker serial killer, and she was kind of like trapped between them. That was a good episode. A lot of those episodes were good. Yeah. Shudder should bring that shit back. Masters of Horror. Although I guess it doesn't have the same kind of like thematic aesthetic kind of thing like Creepshow had. You know what I mean?
Fuck all this shit, man.
Oh, he's putting his... Fuck
all this shit, man.
Oh, are you going into Michael Caine mode?
Going into Michael Caine. Is he fucking you?
I was going to say that, but I thought it would ruin it.
Is he fucking you? Let me ask something of you. My dear. Is that man fucking you?
Oh my god.
Oh man, fuck the Michael Caine.
That's
another motherfucker that's 2 drinks away from whipping your ass.
Not even 2 drinks, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, and dude, not really a physical powerhouse. It's just his fucking face, his eyes. He did some kind of a movie.
It's crazy strength.
Where he's got that crazy strength. You gotta understand.
Crazy drunk.
You gotta understand something. Back in the 70s, it wasn't really cool for dudes to work out and get strong. You were just supposed to be real strong on the strength of your fucking man magic. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like man magic.
Well, if you had to work out, then you're cheating.
Yeah, you're cheating. Sure. You're working out. Yeah,
I get
You're just supposed to be strong without that. Yeah, that's fucking something else. Oh, so now you want to lift weights. You want to get strong. Yeah.
Like, bitch, we didn't even need to do that. We have vodka.
Strong just on the virtue of fucking...
of being
me. Being me. It's just my own,
I like that better, actually.
No, it's not good.
I like that better, actually.
No, it's called being a punk. That's how every fucking punk thinks.
Oh, I'm a punk? Well, that...
No.
I'm more a post-punk.
No. I watched some of these fucking YouTube channels. You saw me this morning. I was watching this YouTube channel.
I don't pay attention to shit you watch on YouTube.
And that's fucking this girl action. They don't watch. I was watching this guy. His channel's called More Plates, More Dates. He's a fucking Chad and shit. More plates, more dates. More weights that are on your fucking thing, the more dates you get.
I don't think that's true, though.
No, I think there's something to it because he's actually got proof.
He's got proof.
He's got pictures to
or
prove
so
it.
He
He's
says.
Got pictures to prove it.
He photoshopped
I've
the
seen
pictures
videos. I've seen videos of him. I've seen videos of him. Anyway. Fuck, man. You fucked me up. I forgot what I was talking about. He's just fucking... He'll lift out videos off of other people's videos, and he's just going over the average... It was just... You go on More Plates, More Dates than the video he just put up. I think it was... No, I guess it might have been from 7 months ago. I don't remember when he put it up. It was either recent or 7 months. I forgot which one it was. And just... this gamer dude was complaining he had his blood work done. And he's always talking about blood work. That's the good thing, is that it's all science related. They're doing blood tests. This dude knows everything about all these fucking performance.
He knows everything about blood.
Blood and drugs. Okay. And he was just talking about how some of these millennial guys, their fucking testosterone levels are fucking low. Single digits, double digits, fucking, you know, it should be like average is probably like 750 fucking, was it nanoliters per fucking liter? I forgot what it was called. But a lot of these guys are like at 14 and 15. And fucking, just the fucking funny shit. Look at that guy. Look at how low his testosterone is. You can tell by those soft, kissable lips he's got. That shit was so fucking funny.
You can't work your lips out. What the fuck are you even talking about?
No. If a man has a very low testosterone, he was young. He was in his 20s. Okay, couldn't even grow a beard. Okay, and fucking they were saying it wasn't just him. It was his friends too. Who was on lines with him saying that he had those soft, kissable lips. And he did. No, he did. He had girl lips.
So you wanted to kiss him?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what they said.
Oh, okay.
That's what they said.
Sure.
You see this game she's trying to play with me?
You
trying
know,
to flip her? Oh, so you want to kiss him? No, that's what they said.
Do you know who else had beautiful kissable lips?
Who's
Ian McCulloch from Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, yeah.
And he was fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. But I bet
Probably
you that,
still is.
Bet you that bitch had testosterone, though.
Y'all all have testosterone. Everybody has testosterone.
That dude,
I've
not
got
this
some.
dude. This dude that he was talking about. He had the blood work. He had the blood work to fucking prove it. He had to take Clomid to try to get his fucking, which is a fucking female fertility drug. They were giving him a female fertility drug to try to kickstart his.
Ew, he has to take female stuff.
Taking female fucking fertility drugs to kickstart his testosterone
Dudes
production.
crack me up.
Women.
You dudes crack me up.
Hank Hill said that Tom looks like Christopher Lloyd from the Addams Family film.
Before he became Uncle Fester. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Oh, fucking Scott says blood and drugs shirt. That'd be good. Blood and drugs, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a good one. GB Game says, my mom liked the Monkees.
Badger's talking about...
I used to love that show. That was a little bit after my time, the Monkees, but I was into it. They showed it on MTV for some reason. They showed, like, fucking reruns of it.
Badger mentioned that Fairuza went through hell on the island of Dr. Moreau set. She was at her cutest, really.
Wait, did I even see it? Was that the one with fucking Marlon Brando?
Yeah, she was so fucking cute in that movie.
And he was like, didn't they have to, like, bring him in on a crane or something?
She was cute in American History X, too.
She's just cute in general. She's cute in general.
I like her teeth.
Yeah.
She's got this real fucking aggressive looking mouth like she's gonna bite you.
I know, I'm into that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna bite you.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't care if it's a dude or a woman or whatever. It's like, I like people that are interesting looking.
Scott Ryan goes, lips like sugar. Lips like sugar.
Seriously, Echo and the Bunnymen. You guys, Echo and the Bunnymen, that was the first band that I saw live, 1987, at the Bob Carr Auditorium here in Orlando, which is not there anymore. Or I think it's still there, but it's called something else. But,
Tina says, the more Tom talks. Laughing, the more Tom talks? I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe she's making fun of me again.
We're all making fun of you. We're all making fun of you.
I'm just trying to get...
I'm just kidding. Aw, you get mad. But yeah, Echo and the Bunny was the first live band that I saw. I was
join Led Zeppelin.
Oh.
I'm looking at myself and says, yeah, I'm ready for Led Zeppelin.
Are you?
I'm ready for Led Zeppelin? Yeah.
Hey,
mama said the way you move.
For some reason,
We doing the...
you know what? I didn't like Led Zeppelin back in the day. You know what? When I was in high school, do you remember in the late 80s, early 90s, how it was very... This is really weird. I don't know if people remember this. But you know how, like, right before grunge came in and shit like that, there was a big, like, 60s resurgence. Because I feel like a lot of kids in my high school in the late 80s were all into Led Zeppelin and The Doors and Pink Floyd. Everyone had fucking long hair and like tie-dye kind of shit. It was kind of that kind of shit going on. I wasn't involved, but I had some friends that were into that.
Filthy Garden says Tom looks really interesting right now. I don't know if it is
because I said I like interesting looking people.
I think he's flirting with me. He needs a man.
Are you flirting with Tom?
You flirting with me, bitch.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
So Tom should be sitting on a cloud with a bow and arrow. That's what Fort Jordan Down said.
You guys, I spit my drink out my nose.
Yeah. She's getting sloppy.
Well, I wasn't expecting somebody to say that when I was taking a drink.
Hold on. I gotta revert back to a man. Shit was getting too soft for me.
You can't take it?
No, I can't take that shit.
Sorry, I just blew shit out my nose.
That shit was too effeminate. Now I'm going into it. Now I'm fucking blaming from Terminator. Goddamn sexual tyrannosaur.
He couldn't take having long curly hair for too long.
Sexual tyrannosaur.
Now he has to go way back in the other direction. No, it's like, but you know what? My first crush when I was a kid, I think, was Lurch from Addams Family.
Bitch is crazy.
Like the original Lurch. And then when I got older, I know this is weird, but like, you know who I was I was really into, like in the 80s, I was really into Jeremy Irons and John Malkovich. I don't know, like I liked really weird looking dudes.
Tila's in there fucking fantasizing about Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison was pretty hot back in the day.
Yeah, you know.
He also had very kissable lips.
I fucking loved the Doors. I thought their music.
The Doors are fucking awesome.
They were almost kind of like a proto-gothic band.
Oh, definitely.
And they did things almost kind of with a fucking goth sensibility from that time. Very late 60s. But I saw some back in the days that, you know, this is the 80s when, you know, fucking in high school when I discovered the Doors. It was better not really to see them. It was better just to fucking listen to the tapes and the albums. Later on, like recently in the past couple of years, I dug up a lot of fucking film. Archive film of fucking Jim Morrison in action. Man, you know, almost kind of like a little bit of a letdown.
It's like you're ruining it for me.
It's like you're ruining it for me. Because I don't want to say it was another time. It was another time, and he kind of came off through his body language, you know, of a little bit of a charlatan, like he was pretending. And he was also drunk as fuck.
Well,
he was like drunk as fuck and pretending. Which
smug, I think, is always kind of. I always got like a smug.
Yeah, he got a
vibe.
smug, but you know what though is that it seemed kind of artificial to me. I could also detect that he was real uncomfortable, that he had a little bit of stage fright around people, and that he was kind of under pressure to act out.
But that's pretty common though with performers of that caliber, especially.
Well, we're looking at it in hindsight. At the time, he was just kind of new to the scene. He'd only been doing it for a couple years. And he was just a dude. He was just a dude trying to make a living. Yeah, he was doing shit. He was not the legendary Jim Morrison that we know. That happened after he died.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
That's kind of... Yeah.
He doesn't have the gravitas. You could tell he's not taking himself that seriously. He's a little bit self-conscious, and he's not real totally secure in what he's doing. I would say the only dude that really got to that level back in those days, who was a legend and knew he was a legend at that time, would have been Elvis.
Yeah.
Elvis was very comfortable with who he was and what he was doing. He knew he was the king. And then later on in his fucking his Vegas phase, when his career was kind of winding down, because he had his hardcore fan base, but he couldn't compete with the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. And he didn't want to update his act. He goes backwards into fucking gospel music.
Well, yeah, it's a new era, and it's like, I don't, you know, if you don't want to do that, you can't really, like, be genuine.
Yeah.
You know.
He didn't want to do that, so what he does, he goes backwards into gospel music.
Which I get that.
He ends up in fucking, in Vegas, drunk as fuck on all those damn fucking painkillers. They tried to take that shit from him. He'd pull a gun on you if you tried to take his drugs from him. He called it medicine. His medication.
I guess it was in a sense.
It was prescription. Those fucking doctors. What's up, Pooh?
Hi, Pookie.
Those doctors should have been fucking
Come up
charged.
here.
Those doctors should have been fucking criminally
Hi.
charged.
She's down.
That was the same shit they did to Prince.
Yeah.
It was fucking criminal. And I think they did that to fucking Jackson, too.
Michael Jackson.
He was on a bunch of prescription drugs.
Well, weren't they
They were
looking
drug
into his
dealers of the
doctor for
stars.
a...
Drug dealers
Okay.
of the stars, yeah.
Well, it's kind of the thing where you just have to find a like slightly disreputable doctor who is just willing to give you whatever you want
Right.
for money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like, oh, you're Elvis. I guess you know what you're talking about. Here you go. Here's your Percodan. Or whatever.
well,
Your
I mean,
Percocet.
they're just like everybody else.
your
It's like
fucking-
if somebody's willing to pay you like
Yeah.
an obscene amount of money,
Right.
and you've got the shit, then, well,
It was sad because
it was. But
in the case of Elvis, had he not fallen to drug addiction, had he kind of just laid low and adapted to the fucking 60s, I think he could have eventually come back and competed with the Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
well, because
I
I
think he could
feel
have.
like the early '80s were kind of a heyday of, kind of a resurgence of rockabilly.
Yeah. He could
So
have come
he
back,
could have kind of
come back as the Stray Cats.
positioned himself, you know, within that with
Yeah.
you know the Cramps and the Stray Cats
Exactly.
and the Polecats and all that kind
and
of
Billy
stuff.
Idol.
Right, all that kind of stuff. You
Which
could have
was-
totally pulled that off.
He could have had he added kind of the darker elements of fucking the Rolling Stones, which really I loved the Beatles of that era. I understand the context of the time. The Stones were actually, I think, a little bit better. I'm just saying, the Stones were harder. The Stones.
I'm more a Beatles person because
Stones were harder,
I
though.
liked that they were more experimental.
They were all both good. That was almost kind of like the Pink Floyd of the '60s.
It's hard to
They
pick.
were-
They're two completely
Yeah.
different. They had two completely different takes.
Had Elvis just watched and put a little bit of Rolling Stones in his act, and maybe been able to kind of conceive of slightly of what was going to happen with the advent of punk rock, because a lot of people don't know this, but very early Rolling Stones, before they were famous, sounded like punk rock.
It did.
They were when they were in the
Well, I mean, look at fucking like your proto punk, like
Right.
the Stooges and the MC5
Yeah.
and shit like that.
yeah.
Which you know that was kind of comparable to
Yeah.
like what the Rolling Stones were doing.
It was conceivable, had Elvis been healthy, by the time 71 and 70 had rolled around, he could have come up with something that would have sounded almost like Billy Idol, I think.
Yeah,
Imagine
probably.
him doing something along the lines of White Wedding.
Yeah, see,
See,
that would have
that
been
would
fantastic.
Fucking right. You imagine
Like I
if
said,
Elvis did White
early
Wedding.
'80s, there was a
Right.
big '50s throwback. Like
Right.
a lot of people were getting back into rockabilly.
A lot of punk rock was rockabilly,
Yeah.
therefore, and also
It
had
speeded up rockabilly.
and
is
it
what
also
punk rock is.
and it's also speeded up reggae.
That too.
It's reggae too, because it's ska.
Yeah.
Ska is speeded up reggae.
Yeah.
And punk rockers listen to fucking reggae.
Yep.
Reggae and ska.
Yep.
So, conceivably, by 71, Elvis could have fucking come up with something along the lines of a dark Mississippi Southern fucking rock that would have been kind of like a Billy Idol. Like, imagine White Wedding.
Yeah, because I
Or
feel like a lot of people would.
Imagine
really
if he
fit
did
into it.
Flesh for Fantasy.
Yeah. See.
And because Idol was a copy of Elvis. That was a punk rock incarnation of Elvis. That's why I love Billy Idol. He's a fucking. I admire him as an artist. I like him as a dude. From what
He
everything
seems
I've
like a
seen.
good dude, actually.
He's a good dude. He has drug problems too.
Yeah, but a lot of people. It's,
yeah.
I don't judge
It's
people
not a
on
moral
that.
thing. It's just
Like
that
I said,
I don't.
I
see
love
it-
Nick Cave. He had
Right.
horrible problems with heroin.
I don't. In Idol, I don't see it. I'm not looking at this as some kind of a moral fault. I'm more looking at it more of a professional hindrance, because they could have produced more and better stuff without it. I don't think it helped them. I don't think it helped their productivity. I'm gonna go check the door. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen a together Elvis in 1970s doing something kind of like punk rock.
Somebody said the Police were also kind of considered punk or new
Yeah,
wave.
yeah.
Which they were. I remember that.
Well, it had a lot of ska influence in it.
Oh yeah, big time. That was a big reggae influence.
Yeah,
The Police.
right.
I love the Police. Actually, the first album that I spent my own money on was Synchronicity.
Yeah.
When I was 11.
See,
I fucking wore that album out.
A lot of.
That's a great album. Still.
A lot of Americans don't understand the crossover between punk rock, reggae, and rap. There was a lot of crossover.
Well, everything that wasn't mainstream music at the time,
they all hung out together.
We all kind of hung out together. I mean, I hung out with kids that were into punk. I hung out with new wave kids. I hung out with reggae kids. You just hung out with all the outsider people.
Yeah. England didn't have African Americans. African Americans are Africans that are in America.
Right.
They had Jamaican people that were Jamaican of Jamaican background, and they had reggae. They could, back in the days of fucking punk rock in the 70s, they hated prog rock. The punk rock kids would not listen to prog rock.
Yeah, it was.
So the only choice that they had on the fucking jukeboxes was reggae.
Yeah.
So then they started playing reggae, and that became shit kind of like the Specials and fucking
the Jam.
The Jam,
and to a lesser extent.
Right. So there was some crossover there, and even
the English beat.
The Clash had ska reggae riffs in it and shit.
Even Bauhaus did like some shit that had some
reggae
influence.
Right, which was goth
on
and
Mask.
Reggae.
Yeah.
Now, back in the United States, fucking punk rock came to America, and it was not really understood that very much at the time. It took a while for that to set in, and then Billy Idol and all these other guys started to come over. Malcolm McLaren came over to the United States, and they found out that their version of Jamaicans, or our version of Jamaicans, are African Americans. And Malcolm McLaren found fucking bands out in New York. I think it was New York or Chicago. I don't remember. I think it might have been New York. And he noticed something that today you would call rap.
Yeah.
And he said, this is going to be the next new thing. And Malcolm McLaren tried to capitalize on rap. And I think one of the bands that he got involved with did Buffalo Girls, which was like one of the very first. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo Girls that go around the outside.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a rap adjacent thing. And then there was Musical Youth. But that was Jamaican, and I think
Pass
he was...
the Dutchie.
Pass the Dutchie.
That was 82, I want to say?
Yeah.
I think it was 82.
And then all of a sudden rap acts, the early rap acts started
Well, and
to
look,
appear.
fucking even Blondie and Rapture
had rap,
did fucking...
Fab Five Freddy and shit.
Yeah.
And this is all
one of the first
crossover.
American bands to do that.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't really understand the history of all this shit. There was lots and lots of fucking ethnic crossover during all that. And a lot of the fucking real, even in England and in the United States, a lot of these, that shit came off as being white as fuck, and it wasn't as white as you think it was. That scene was fucking
Well,
mixed.
as I said, it was just kind of like outsiders all grouping together.
Yeah.
Like, we're all outsiders, so we're kind of gonna...
Mango said Madness. Remember Madness?
I love Madness.
Fucking Madness was awesome.
I love Madness.
Yeah.
I love all that shit.
Tila knows about Malcolm and Buffalo Girls.
Yeah.
Remember that, Tila? Tila, man, how old are you, Tila? Fuck.
I love when somebody knows the history, because
shit.
I'm super into like the history of punk and post-punk and stuff, because I'm like a big, music person, and it's like I love
Buffalo Girls
all
was
that. I love all that shit.
kind of like a mixture of industrial and rap. That was what, 1982 maybe?
It might have been, maybe earlier.
Buffalo Girls going around the outside, around do-si-do to your part, and it was just a mix. They were doing fucking square dance. They lifted a track off a square dance fucking song and mixed that in with a bunch of other scratching and all kinds of stuff. Because Malcolm McLaren saw black dudes scratching.
Yeah.
And he was just like, that's fucking fantastic. And they were doing it in a burned out ruins of, I think, Chicago, I think it was. Either Chicago or New York.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that shit came out of New York, I feel like, because you got, like, you got your new wave shit, you had CBGBs, you had Blondie, you had Talking Heads, all that. Then you had your no wave, you had, like, Swans, Throbbing Gristle, you had all that kind of shit going on, too. That was, like, a New York thing.
And then a fucking Harmony House Karen, which was a girl that fucking, my buddy, remember Steve? He's not, Dr. Steve. When we were kids, this is out in Michigan, he was banging this fucking girl who was, like, 4 or 5 years older than us. She worked at Harmony House, and she would give him all these fucking albums, all right, free albums. She was older than us. She was kind of like our hip connection. She'd give us free tickets and shit. Looking back on it, the shit was probably illegal, so I think she might have been about 20. Okay, we were like 17 or so. And one of the albums that she gave Steve says, "Hey Ross, you might like this one, man." And it was an album I'd never fucking seen it before, and it had these fucking, it was a spooky dark room with these fucking sinister looking black dudes with fucking black berets and fucking black glasses on, and it was this, I didn't know what it was called Public Enemy. The name of the album was called Yo, Bum Rush the Show. And I took that shit back, and I fucking loved it. It had my Uzi Weighs a Ton on it. It had fucking 98 Oldsmobile. I had all these, and that was like the beginning of fucking gangster rap. And I was in on that when it first fucking came out. It was different back then because you could tell that it was homemade, that it was made by these guys. This wasn't some corporate shit. And I fucking loved it. Fucking. And then I saw Flav, and pictures of Flav on there. I said, what the fuck is this dude all about? And then soon after that, you could get like underground music videos of Public Enemy with Flavor Flav, and he had a huge fucking clock hanging around his neck, and it was all this symbolism and stuff, you know. I fucking loved it, man. I fucking loved it, and it was just like black nationalism. Black nationalism brought to, and it was kind of industrial. It kind of fit in at the time. It sounded a little bit like Skinny Puppy.
Well, yeah, because I knew
like
a lot of people.
Skinny Puppy.
Yeah, a lot of people that were into industrial were into that too. There wasn't like a. It's weird because I mean I don't know. It might have been different in different areas. Like I grew up kind of in the South, so you know there wasn't a lot of people that were into punk or post-punk or anything like that. So everybody that was into something, I guess you would call it like outsider music, that wasn't like mainstream music, they all kind of hung out together. So you kind of got like reggae people, you got punk people, you got industrial people. You'd all kind of like hang out together, so you'd all like listen to each other's music. There wasn't a lot of clique kind of shit going on. I know in other places there was, because I've heard other people that grew up other places that have talked about it's like, oh, the punks didn't like the new wavers and all this other kind of shit. But where I grew up, there was so few of us that we all had to hang out together because there was like 5 or 6 of us maybe in the school. So it's like you kind of had to like against the jocks and cheerleaders, you know, the mainstream culture, you kind of had to, you know, hey, you're into Throbbing Gristle. Hey, I'm into whatever. I'm into the Swans. I'm into this. I'm into that. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I like the Clash. I like this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, so you just kind of had to all just hang out together. And so everyone just kind of like learned to like each other's stuff.
Tina says, I'm 33, but I was raised right. To know older music and appreciate good musicianship. I respect the genres for real. Yeah. And then she goes on to say that there are younger peeps on YouTube doing the music reaction videos to older music, and they love it. They're getting an education. Yeah, I've been noticing that too.
I have also been.
And you know what's funny is I've been watching the reaction videos. It's going across ethnic fucking bounds too. You see these fucking young black dudes listening to Iron Maiden from like 82, 83, 84, and they're just like, oh, this is fantastic.
See, good shit is
fucking
good
hallowed
shit.
Be thy name and shit, you know. Yeah, it was back in those days, it's at the mainstream level, there was basically kind of like ethnic boundaries. You didn't really have black dudes back in 83 listening to Iron Maiden. But now,
yeah, that wasn't really.
But now but now because it's all in the past, there's all kinds of cultural crossover now.
But that's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. But it's just like, it's funny because I was talking to Saad, he's from Saudi Arabia, and he's a subscriber. And I was showing him some music, and he goes, yeah. He's like, I don't listen to any music. I got to remember when I was born, you know what I mean? We don't make good music anymore. All the good music was made a long time ago. So, because of corporate culture, it destroys everything that it fucking touches. New music isn't anywhere as good as it was in the 80s and the 70s. 90s music was good too.
I mean, there's good shit out there, but you have to
look
dig
for it. You got to look for it.
Look for it.
That's not what's going to be on the radio. You know.
But I feel like that was kind of the case back then too, because
it was
a lot of shit that was on the radio back then sucked also.
Exactly.
And honestly, you know, punk, reggae, all of that kind of shit, post-punk, that was a reaction because I remember listening to the radio, and like I said, this might be regional in the United States because I grew up in the South, and, you know, we have, like, a lot of rednecky stations and shit. We didn't have any cool, like, college stations or anything. In Gainesville, they did. But, because that's, like, where UF is, University of Florida.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of like, in the early 80s, the radio stations where I grew up were still playing old music. They were still playing, like, prog rock and 60s stuff, which I like now, but at the time, in the early 80s, I was like, man, that's, like, my dad's shit. That's what my dad likes. Although I wasn't that averse to it, because my dad was really into, like, the Beatles and the Doors, and I liked that from, like, a really young age. But I didn't like all that Southern rock. I didn't like all the Eagles and fucking Molly Hatchet and all that. And it felt like that was... Because I grew up in Daytona Beach, and that's what was on a lot of the radio back then. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did like the Beatles and the Doors and all that, but...
Responding to Tila, Tila was saying that, you know, black people are now kind of... They're kind of like discovering non-black music from the 80s and freaking how cool it was. And that was good because I lived through that era, and there was almost kind of like tribal loyalties about who you would listen to.
It was like that.
You didn't have black people listening to white music. You had white people listening to black music. That's where they would get a lot of the ideas.
Yeah.
Even David Bowie. David Bowie did a lot of stuff that was like soul.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was still in high school, because I liked the Doors and I liked Pink Floyd, because I liked some prog rock too. I liked prog rock on top of some of the early goth and punk and metal. I started going way back and listening to blues like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all those guys.
I love that shit still.
And that shit was real good. Really good. And you know, it's just... It also just made sense to me being Southern, you know what I mean? That's all very Southern music. Blues. Mississippi Delta blues.
Yeah.
I
like that a lot better than Southern rock.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Southern rock. A lot of Southern rock wasn't dudes from the South. It was fake Southern rock.
Well, and I think too, when you grow up here, it's so ubiquitous that you get fucking sick of it.
What is Southern rock? Even the Rolling Stones was ripping off the Southern rock sound.
Yeah, they were.
Which I respect that. That's okay, but you got Americans faking British accents sometimes, and some of them we know personally. And the British are
faking
wild horses never tear me away. It's like, dude, you are not Southern. You are fucking British.
Knock it off.
Knock that shit off.
It's all right. Do
wild horses. Yeah.
The Sundays covered that song. Did you know that?
Yeah.
In the 90s.
But I'm still going to give it to the Rolling Stones.
I love the Rolling Stones. I do.
Say the Beatles might have been more experimental,
but
kind of.
I grew up with the Beatles. Like ever since I was a kid, my dad is like the biggest Beatles fan on earth. You guys, don't even know.
I kind of think the Rolling Stones were kind of the first goth band.
See, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go that far. Like, I love the Rolling Stones. I'm not saying that. The Rolling Stones are brilliant.
They had some
I do
shit.
feel like the Rolling Stones were just... They were reinterpreting something that already existed. Like you said, they were taking blues, they were taking like pub rock, they were taking all that kind of stuff and putting their own spin on it and making it brilliant. I'm not saying they weren't brilliant, because they were. I feel like the Beatles were more... I like the Beatles more because not only were they great songwriters, like in the sense that they could write a great song that would like stick in your head and was like really memorable, but also they weren't really concerned about sticking to a particular style, and they're like, whatever our influences are at the moment, we're just gonna like do that. So I respect more of the like creativity. You know what I'm saying?
Sophie just private messaged me. Been trying to get into the Misfits, figuring out the timeline, checking out the variety of songs, because They're all over the place. You ever been into them or not? You're seeing. Of course, I don't know if she's listened to the.
I
stream
love
or
the
not.
Misfits, but
the Misfits were good.
My brother, who is 4 years younger than I am, he had a punk band for a time. He had one called Jellybone, and he had one called Dr. Evil. And they played many places around Daytona, a few places in Orlando back in the day, like late 80s, early 90s. He learned to play guitar and bass largely by listening to the Misfits and Bad Religion. So when I was growing up, because his bedroom was right next to mine in the apartment, so I would hear the Misfits and Bad Religion through my wall every day for many, many hours.
I don't know if Sophie's in the stream or not. Maybe that was just a random message. Do you have have you seen her in
I haven't seen her in there.
Okay.
I love the Misfits. I do. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to go with... the Misfits, I would call... What would you call that? Horror punk? I guess.
It was California punk rock.
Yeah. I call it horror punk because every single song was like based on a horror movie and they named it after like an old horror movie. And I love that aesthetic. This is why I love the Cramps so much, because I love the fucking Cramps. They took that old like 50s aesthetic and like applied it to 70s, 80s and like made some punk rock shit out of it, and I love that. I love the Misfits more like, I don't know. I love the older shit, I guess.
There was just something about that time.
It's so weird thinking.
But maybe it was just us that time. Well, no, it's not. It's not. I'm gonna tell you all something. A lot of it had to do with the fact that in those days, music was our social media. That was our version of the internet. There was no internet.
Well, that was how you related to other
Right.
people. That was how you knew
Right.
your tribe.
There was no. Hold on.
All right, let me run and pee.
Yeah. Okay.
And you talk.
Right.
You can take the comm if you want.
I'm good. We didn't have internet, so our social media was music. So they put more effort in it, and the guys that were working as musicians, and like you want to call them rock stars, whatever, rap stars, they actually got more out of it. They got more reward out of it. I mean, friends of mine, like, from A Starry Night and 13th Angel, which people we've worked with, and Jenny's done so many goddamn black metal album covers. It's not even funny. These are dudes that back in the day would have been real well known. They would have been wealthy. They would have been pretty famous. But today they're just competing against so much other stuff. They're competing against video games. They're competing against music, internet, social media, Instagram. There's just not enough time to sit around and listen to goddamn albums. I mean, I used to go in my room and put an album on, put headphones on, just lay on my back on the damn ground on the floor with a pillow and just sit there and look at the album cover. The album cover was your graphics, man. That was your music video. Sitting there looking at the album and switching the back and reading the lyrics, and you just spend all day fucking looking at damn records and record albums. It was just another time. It was a slower time, but you were kind of savored things more. Little things meant more. It was a little more immersive. It was more personal. I mean, I'm sure people in the comment sections know what it is I'm talking about. It was just in some way, for music, it was definitely a better time. That was the time for that genre. When MTV came out, it was fucking great. But then after about 6, 7, 8 years of fucking MTV, that started to saturate. Then you started ignoring that. It's like society gets used to things. Its threshold gets higher.
Well, that's like a very human thing.
Yeah.
Shit goes on for long enough, you just get used to it and it's not cool anymore.
Yeah. And then the internet came out. And I remember in the late 90s, fucking around with early internet. What? What was I? Okay.
Oh my god, listen to her yelling.
She talks. Early internet,
Yeah, she talks.
I liked early internet better than today's internet, even though early internet fucking sucked. She talks, playing with it. Come on, let's go outside.
She wants to go.
Yeah, she's running. Come on.
She was waiting. I went to the bathroom, which is right there, and she was outside the door. Me. She peeps when she wants to go outside. She's like, you guys, I have to go outside. It's imperative, like right now. I have to go sit by the tree.
Yeah.
She sits by the tree in our backyard.
Yeah.
Waiting for that raccoon, I guess.
There was something kind of charming about early internet. It didn't have the functionality that it had today. But it kind of had a deeper, more mysterious fucking vibe to it. And your mom wasn't on it. It was
now
just
everyone's
young people.
mom and
now
grandma's
moms and
on
grandmas on that shit. It's fucking mainstream. It's like
And I mean, I'm
cable
like
TV.
people's mom's age too,
Yeah.
which I get that, but I'm not anyone's mom except for Pookie. But I still kind of feel like, oh man, my mom's on this shit. So
Yeah.
I still kind of have that mentality. I guess.
Anybody can use it. And it was harder to
Ew.
use back then. You had to have some computer skills to get shit done. You didn't have to format hard drives. Remember formatting your hard drive, formatting your operating system and shit? I forgot what it was.
Well,
called.
shit.
It's been so
I mean,
long.
we remember back when there was no Windows. You had to like write your own little programs.
Well, when Windows first started to come out, it was a lot easier though.
Well, yeah,
And
that
then-
is a lot easier.
Yeah, internet connections and stuff, and then you had like internet lore and strange fucking. If you, the YouTube channel Wang explains a lot of that shit.
I mean, I remember
Internet
a
of the
lot
90s.
I remember a lot of it.
It was more mysterious, and it was in a way more powerful. It seemed like it was more powerful because it had fewer people on it.
Yeah,
Now it's
because only
ubiquitous.
people. Yeah, only people that were kind of like
Yeah.
tech savvy, I guess.
Right. You were
on
kind
it
of you were
back in the
going
day.
underneath their radar, saying shit and talking and trading, and it was the Wild West. You could order something illegal over the internet.
Well, you can still do that.
You can still do it, but
To be fair.
it was a lot easier back
You just have to be sneakier.
then. And average fucking Joe didn't have any idea how to use it. Now anybody can do it.
Scott says Pookie won't accept your Facebook request.
Yeah.
That would not surprise me. No, Pookie's nice. She would accept our Facebook request, I feel like, maybe. I don't know, though. We're her parents. She might not think we're cool. Not really sure. But yeah, so like... Man.
Yeah, Xanada says it was mysterious. It was. Oh yeah, and fucking Tila knows about dial-up. You fucking try to connect to the internet and it made this. It had a sound effect that it would play, and you're like, "That's right, get in there, get in there." You fucking, I'm hooking up
And
to
then
the internet.
is somebody on the
I'm
phone?
hooking up to the internet.
No one in the house is
Okay,
on the
I'm now
phone.
in the internet, in violation of all these other motherfuckers.
And then 20 minutes later, somebody's
Yeah.
like, I need to use the phone. Get off that
Right.
shit.
Yeah, and it took forever for fucking. And they didn't have fucking streaming. They didn't really have streaming.
No.
And fucking porn, it took forever. It was just photographs. It took forever.
Well, it
for
was
that
just
shit to
line
load.
by line. You're
Line
like,
by
where?
line, it had
Come
shit.
on, titties. That's her
Yeah,
face.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
give a
yeah.
shit
Okay,
about her
let's-
face.
Yeah,
Where,
and then you had to go to the next one.
where
I
are
don't
the
wanna see that one
nipples?
either.
Where's
And
the
fucking-
bush?
yeah,
Come
it's
on,
fucking
come on.
crazy.
It took
Yeah,
so
and
long.
then like at that time,
Delayed gratification. That's
Yeah,
what that was.
and then like the hottest porn star on the web was a dude named was not a dude, a chick named Danny Ash.
You said dude first.
Well, you know why? Because I was thinking of Daniel Ash from
Okay.
fucking from.
I'll allow it.
What's
From
that?
Love and Rockets.
From Love and Rockets. Yeah, no, it was. Danny
Although
Ash.
I love Daniel Ash, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna say
Danny Ash was a fucking girl on the internet. She was fucking big boobs, big blonde, and fucking Howard Stern kept plugging her fucking site. It was called Daddy's Hard Drive. Nothing but just busty beauties on that bitch. It was, by today's standards, this shit was fucking R-rated. But back in the day, that was some shit.
well, yeah, you couldn't just see anything.
Yeah, you couldn't see anything.
Nowadays,
back
you go on the internet and just
Just
like,
see anything.
look, I'd like a video of someone stepping on someone's nuts
Yeah.
with a high heel shoe.
then. Yeah, kicking a dude in the balls. Remember we saw that? Woman in that high
I
heels
enjoyed
kicking a
that.
dude in the balls.
I
was just
enjoyed
going,
those
"Oh!"
videos. There's a whole
Oh!
subgenre.
Yeah.
People sticking their balls, dudes sticking their balls through a hole in like a plank or something.
Yeah. Somebody else stepping on.
And then she has a high heeled shoe and she just like
Ridiculous.
squishes them and stuff.
Ridiculous.
I liked those.
You gotta watch it with these women.
Because the women are like,
into
yeah,
they're
do
into
that,
this fucking
do it.
weird shit, stepping on dudes' fucking nuts and shit, and then trying to put a wood.
It's
in
very
the wood,
cathartic.
Trying to fucking violate some man.
It's
Man.
cathartic.
They have these fucking sick imaginations.
It's not so much that. It's just that I think that girls are so used to dudes being like in charge of everything and like running everything. So it's nice to see them kind of laid low, I guess. You know what I mean?
So I'm saying you gotta watch it for those women, man.
Oh
They're
yeah,
trying to lay you low.
We'll fuck you up.
Yeah, they'll fuck you up.
Well, hey,
y'all
shouldn't be that way. We wouldn't feel the need to do that shit to you.
Xander's going, Tom is nostalgic, the same way I feel about the 90s. The 90s...
I don't like the 90s.
I liked them.
I liked the 80s. The 90s, I was kind of over it by that point. I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not so sure I like this decade.
I liked the 90s. The 90s was a transitional period. It was like the 80s, but it was high tech. You knew that it was flipping over into an online world because it was starting to come. You had internet. Not everybody, but it was out there. It was slow, but for the day it was very powerful. And you were just like, man, I'm in a whole new world. It hadn't set in yet, though. The rest of the world was very 80s, very tangible. It was not an online world. Just you. You know, you're in there and you're like, oh yeah. And the whole idea of wireless internet really fucking tripped me out. With cell phones that could go on the internet. And it started off with laptops that could go on the internet without any wires. I was tripping when I first saw that. And I was like, think of the possibilities. And it's here now. It's been here for a long time.
That's some fucking Tesla shit.
That was some Tesla
and now
shit.
It's just like shit everybody takes for granted.
Take it for granted now.
Which is, I think that maybe why, you know, I like the 80s. I wouldn't go back there. I like a lot of the music from then. I like the music from then and the movies from then. But I wouldn't go back there because it was a pain in the ass. But the 90s, I don't feel a lot of nostalgia for. I like the 80s and I like now.
I liked the 90s. I mean,
I don't like all that transitional, we're kind of like in between. It's like, I don't feel any nostalgia for that.
Because you weren't there. You weren't there with me.
Where was I?
You weren't there with me. There was just my perspective, the way I perceived it. It was a good time for me, I guess. I mean, I was late 20s, you know? Late 20s.
Well, I was early 20s in the 90s.
And
I graduated from high school in 1990, so I was 18, 19, 1990.
You had internet. New music was coming. It was a very positive time. You had cute girls wearing Jinko jeans and fucking tongue rings. And in the mall, you still had malls, you know?
I didn't like malls in the 80s, so, you know. That wasn't
well, it was just
thing.
Malls, you know what I mean?
I know.
It had mall culture. It was a weird mixture of the modern world and the old world of like the 80s. I didn't know it at the time that it was a mixture of two different worlds, but looking back on it, it was.
Yeah, that's something that you would only see in hindsight.
Yeah, it was in between both, and just there was something about the people of the time. They were very positive. They were easy to deal with. You weren't dealing with weird, fucking negative fucking aspects of them. You know what I mean? That you see now. Just saying, it was like, a fun time.
We didn't have social media, so you could pretend that like your friends were cool and not like complete assholes that were like just trolling people and being dickheads on the internet. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. I was just saying that. I was just saying that it was a simpler time. It seemed like people were kind of innocent, and they were going into a bigger world for the first time. People that, for instance, like I was in Mississippi. When I went to Mississippi after being in Boston. Kids in Mississippi, I'm calling them kids now, but you know, they're young people in Mississippi in their 20s were fucking wearing Jinkos in the mall with fucking tongue rings and fucking going to Hot Topic.
I know,
and they had the fucking internet at home. They didn't have it on cell phones in their pocket, but they had internet at home, and they were real friendly and they were easy to hook up with, and it was just a good time. And they looked hot. Everybody looked hot back then. It just did, to me. When you were there at the time.
Well, after the mom jeans thing faded.
Yeah, mom jeans were gone.
That helped a lot.
Because the cool girls were...
You guys.
Cool girls were wearing Jinkos. And they were hip huggers. They were real low. And they were fucking big. It was like a skirt that went all the way down to the ground. It had but it had pant legs. Gigantic, ridiculous shit. All right.
They were ridiculous.
But they fucking had tongue rings and pierced nipples and
But
fucking...
better than mom jeans.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Tongue rings, pierced nipples, fucking...
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Yeah, fucking belly shirts.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking... And it's just right to here. Fucking colored beads. Fucking colored glasses. The lenses were colored. The fucking... And they had like pink or something. Or
I guess
blue.
I didn't like... Here's what I didn't like about the 90s. I didn't like... Because I feel like the 80s... What I liked about the 80s was that you had a very clear distinction between there was the mainstream shit, which sucked, and then you kind of had like underground shit. And that was like, that could be anything. It was like a big wide, like I said, it was kind of like back in the 80s, whether you were into industrial, you were into punk, you were into reggae, you were into, hip hop, whatever, all those people hung out together and that was cool. But like the mainstream didn't know about it. The 90s, I feel like everybody knew about it, and it became corporatized.
Yeah.
Hot Topic started selling all this, like, look, it's alternative clothing.
Well, I just described
and that
it.
pissed me off.
I just described it.
That pissed me off, because it ruined it. It ruined it.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
That's what I didn't like about the 90s.
I just described it. Goths didn't look the way I just described. The way I just described with the fucking Jenkos and the belly fucking shirts and all that shit. That was more of a mainstream type of thing.
That's what irritated us.
But I thought it looked good.
It was co-opted.
I thought it looked... That wasn't goth to me, though.
No.
And then later they fucking used black clothes. They would take the same look and just turn the clothes black. And they were gravers. Which I fucking like that, too. But then you gotta understand, my perspective is very different than yours because I was a young guy. I'm just trying to hit. I don't fucking really care about fucking, I wasn't really like that.
You don't care about anything important.
We talking about, no, that was important. That was the priority. That was the priority. If they were cute, then fucking you're good to go. I preferred fucking girls from the goth fucking community, but a lot of times they were fucking too difficult to deal with. A lot of them had mental problems. It just depended on what the situation. Some of them had drug problems too. I mean, in some of those scenes, fucking, there was still a heroin hangover. I
never got into that, but there was a lot of that in the 80s. I will admit that.
When I was in Boston, good 25% of them were still junkies. So you're not gonna fuck with that.
There were a lot of punks and goths that were.
And then a lot of them were fucking college students. So you didn't want to fuck with that because their heads were full of shit. And they were dumb. So you were looking for local girls from Boston, not college students, and you were looking for ones that were old enough to know the deal. They weren't under the protection of their families still. So in that scene that I'm talking about, what that ended up being most of the time in the goth scene was a stripper.
Yeah.
Okay, a goth stripper. So that's what happened. Remember I told you about Vadim, the Russian ex-soldier I used to hang out with?
Yeah.
He was a creation of a fucking local goth stripper. And a lot of the girls that fucking in the scene today that we hang out with, they're strippers. Strippers are cam girls.
I will admit it's a good way to make money.
Yeah, so, that was the deal.
I don't blame people for doing that.
I'm just telling the truth.
I couldn't do that, but that's just
because
I have issues and I'm not going to do that shit. But you know what I mean. I could see if you're hot enough, fucking do that shit. I don't blame you. But I'm just saying that I think that me growing up in the 80s and really being into the whole 80s punk and new wave type of scene from the early 80s.
I gotta reset this shit, man.
And that was something that I was like really into, and that was something that my identity was kind of tied to, if you want to say it like that. So when the 90s came along and like all these stupid motherfuckers who I had hated previously were now suddenly, I'm so into like punk rock.
Do you want another drink?
Yeah. I'm so into this and that, and it just, honestly, it just kind of annoyed me. So I think that was kind of like, so I think like a lot of my favorite music kind of stops at like 1992, because after 1992 I stopped like listening to new music. I stopped kind of like, I was like, man, fuck that shit. It's like everybody, after Nirvana hit, And here's another funny thing. I remember seeing, and I vividly remember this, I remember seeing the video for Smells Like Teen Spirit in 1991, I guess it came out. I remember seeing that video on 120 Minutes, which, if you don't remember, was like their alternative video show that they used to show. It was like at midnight, like on Sunday night. It's from midnight to 2 a.m. And that was like where they showed all their alternative music. They didn't usually show it during the day. That was like the only time that they showed it, was this 2-hour block, like Sunday night. So I remember seeing that song and I was like, man, that's a pretty good song. I don't see that ever getting popular or anything like that. It shows what I know. And then a couple days later, I saw that video, you know, in the middle of the afternoon, and then suddenly it just went fucking, it was everywhere. And I think after that happened, I became really, I was talking about Smells Like Teen Spirit.
No, that thing.
I remember that happening because I remember specifically seeing that song before anybody had heard it and being like, man, that's pretty good. I can't really see that getting popular, because at this point there was like some inkling that shit that had been underground for the past decade or whatever was kind of threatening to go mainstream, and everyone was kind of like nervous about it, I guess. I was nervous about it. So I was like, man, that, you know, I don't think that would ever get like super popular. And then like literally a day or two later, that song was on MTV like in the middle of the afternoon, and then suddenly it just went fucking everywhere, and that fucking album was everywhere. That fucking holy shit. And it was just like this whole thing. And I think that really like disillusioned me, because I think I liked it better when it was just, I don't know. I liked it better when it was a more community-based thing. Like it was a more underground thing. It was like, you know, because seriously, I got the first Nirvana, I got that Nirvana album. I got Bleach and I got Nevermind from a friend of mine who just pirated them for me. He's like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, check it. And he just gave them, like, with a bunch of other pirated albums, because that's what we did. We just recorded them for each other. Yeah. Because everyone was broke. So I kind of got it, and then I used to listen to all this. Oh, this is a good album, you know, whatever. I used to listen to it sometimes. So I was like, you know, cleaning the house or whatever. And so the fact that that was gone now, I don't know. That really bummed me out.
This is the comments here that's going on.
Rick Shaw said Nirvana really did blow up overnight. Yeah, it really did, and it's like, I felt like I was remembering it wrong, because I was kind of like, dude, I literally saw that video on 120 Minutes. Yeah. You know, like I said, which was not a mainstream show. It was like at Sunday night from midnight to 2 a.m. And I used to watch it every week. I used to record it, actually.
Filthy Gardener says, I don't like them now because of the madness from all the ridiculous, crazy opinions on the internet. And then
yeah, but everybody's had stupid opinions forever, and you just didn't know about them before.
That's what he means.
It was easier to
avoid
them.
That's what he's saying.
But that's kind of what I tell myself. Then, but I mean, I liked back then because it was a time before that. Yeah. But I like now because everything's so much easier.
Looks like Tila's leaving.
No, don't go.
Yeah, Xanada says the world was still local back then, not international. And then Victor says, we definitely trolled people in the chat rooms in the 90s. Chat rooms were the shit. There was all kinds of shit that was going on in chat rooms, and you'd be like, only like 5 or 6 people in the damn chat room. You'd be fighting over the fucking, and you would be making things up over the, it was fucking, it was
then one of them would be like a sexual predator or a pedophile or something, and you didn't even know back then?
No. No, they had this weird fucking thing. It was called IRC. I don't remember all the stuff.
I know, I was there too.
And then you had like fucking, I also had web TV. Web TV was better at the house, but fucking you'd have internet at the office through a PC. And later on I had a fucking PC but didn't have internet. It was just some weird shit. But I had fucking web TV, and then they had web TV chat rooms too. It was just another time. And,
we managed.
There was all kinds of weird shit that would fucking go on there. It was funny. None of that shit was serious. The internet in those days was very upbeat. I thought. I just thought it was very upbeat. It was funny. And I think
but that could have just been what you were. Yeah, because it was a smaller.
It was small scale.
Yeah.
It was very small scale. So it was more of a personal experience, and it was. It was just more of a game, you know.
I kind of feel like nowadays it's very fun. Like, people don't mean this to be taken seriously, but a lot of people say, "Oh, look, the internet was a mistake." I don't think it was, but because that's like what my whole work comes from now. But I'm just saying that I think it was easier back in the day because, like, shitty people existed still, as they have existed throughout entire human history, but you didn't know about it. Now you know about it because every stupid motherfucker is posting stupid shit on social media.
Tiva says, didn't they have the heroin chic models from the 90s? Yes, they did.
They did. That was a big thing.
Yeah, and
they were so skinny.
Tom's going off now. That's the 90s I remember. And then Zach says, isn't a cam girl a modern stripper? Yes.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing, but it's much safer.
But back in the day, a stripper was a real stripper. They were up there stripping, and a lot of them were. Somebody said, "Wait a minute, goth strip club where?" Now, Rick, we're talking about Man Ray, which is gone. That's in Boston, and it was a normal goth club. What was a really good goth club for the day? It's just that a lot of the girls that didn't fit the profile of what I was saying. In other words, they weren't junkies. And they weren't college students, and they were hot, but they weren't college students or fucking junkies. Were strippers.
Well, like I said,
that's what was hanging out in there.
If you're hot, it's a pretty decent way to make money.
Yeah. So
and like I said, I would not shit on anybody for choosing that.
In the 90s,
not in any way, shape, or form.
In the 90s, being in my 20s, I just would not date a college girl back in those days, and not in. Because, it was the fucking...
Because you don't like smart girls?
No, you had to see them. You had to see them and understand what the fucking deal was. They weren't smart, either. They were just like all the other ones. They were just fucking... One, they didn't have money. All right? They didn't have money. Two, they didn't understand normal problems like having to go to work in the morning. You know what I mean? And fucking... They just weren't practical. They were still kind of like a high school girl. That's the way they were.
Well, I feel like college, that's kind of like an extension of high school.
Yeah, they were like high school girls. They were not realistic in any way. And they were fucking spoiled. And they only spent their parents' money. They didn't make their own money. And this is Boston. So we're talking Harvard, Tufts, MIT, fucking UMass Boston. These are fucking rich people. All right? And back in those days, rich fucking goth girls, fucking college girls would fucking pay the ass. They're full of shit.
Well, I feel like rich people in general are kind of a pain in the ass.
And then you had girls that fucking actually had jobs. They were cool. But a lot of them just, you know what I mean? A lot of them I didn't find really attractive. The attractive ones that had jobs in that particular scene at that time were strippers. Those were the fucking,
Which, like I said, and even nowadays, like in the past 5,
in our
10
scene,
years,
they're strippers or cam girls.
We've known some cam girls, and honestly, if you can make a living doing that, shit, man, more power to you. Because honestly, being a stripper or being a sex worker is dangerous, still. But working as a cam girl, you get all the perks of that. You get a bunch of dumb suckers like giving you money, which awesome. But also you're in the comfort of your own home, and hopefully none of these dumb fuckers find out where you live and can stalk you and
Rick
shit.
Shaw is asking, what's a chat room? And then he laughs though, so I guess he knows what a chat room is.
He knows what a chat room is.
Chat room, and fucking dude, you missed it. It was fucking ridiculous. Oh, I thought Tila left. She's still here.
Oh, okay. I thought she was
She was supposed to say goodbye to somebody else.
Oh, okay. In that way, I feel like even though a lot of people like shit on the internet in general, I think it's been, there's a lot of bad things about it, obviously. But I think the only bad things about it are bad things that were always present in human society that we're just aware of now that we weren't aware of before.
My friend Colin of Aztlan said in Mexico we didn't have internet in homes until 97. Actually, that's not far off. I would probably say around 97 is about when most homes
we got our first PC that had internet in 95. 95 and it was dial-up. It was super, super slow.
By the time 97 rolled around in the United States, you could do what I did, and for like $130 buy a web TV, hook it up to your TV, put it in your phone line, and get fucking internet for $20 a month. And that was the easiest way into the internet. And it didn't make a difference. I liked it better than a PC. It couldn't get viruses or anything like that. You didn't worry about operating systems. And it made sense in those days for that particular bit of time, because there wasn't much on the internet anyway. It wasn't as data rich as you had. That wouldn't work today. And now costs have gone down for PCs and laptops. It was just very expensive back then, and shit was updating so quickly that web TV was a good deal for a couple of years.
We never had that. I think we got internet we got dial-up in, I think, 1995 or 1996, and it was super, super slow. We didn't use it for much of anything except for email. We played video games up there, mostly on DVD.
Scott Iain says he used to hang out in the Middle East, which is right across the street from Man Ray's. Some of my friends. Yep, I remember the Middle East. The Middle East was awesome. That was down there near, what was it called? What was the name of that fucking tea stop there? Central? I think it was Central. I think it was on the Green Line. You had the Middle East, and then right next to the Middle East, you had the Indian restaurant. I used to eat there all the time. And then you get on that fucking same road and head towards Harvard Square. Remember the old House of Blues with the dungeon downstairs? Used to love the dungeon. Used to hang out at the dungeon. I used to hang out at fucking Man Ray. And I used to hang out at the fucking Rathskeller with all the fucking punk rockers. Remember the Rathskeller? The place was fucking awesome. I'm trying to think where else I used to hang out at. Those are my main hangouts. But he knows how Boston is. Boston was like New York, but for rich people. It was fucking expensive.
Although I feel like New York was kind of for rich people too.
Yeah,
you can't really afford to live you can't afford to live in Manhattan. Only
Manhattan was for the rich people. It was a little. Here's the difference though. Boston, in general, you had two fucking modes. Either they were cool as shit or they were ass-ho. Boston is ass-ho. They were one of the two. There wasn't anything in the middle. But whenever I went to New York, and I used to go to New York a lot, I loved New Yorkers. New Yorkers are not afraid of anybody. They're not fucking snotty.
Honestly,
and they want to talk to you, and you're talking to you. Yeah, man, yeah. I'm a lot more... New Yorkers, as somebody from Mississippi, are very similar in the attitude. Very similar.
I have been to New York many, many times over the years.
Yeah.
And I fucking love New York City. I love it. Yeah. I would live there if I could afford it.
I wouldn't live there.
I would.
I like to visit it, but I would. It's too fucking crowded.
You know what? I'm not a people person, but for some reason in New York it didn't bother me because everyone is just kind of like, man, fuck you, fuck off. Which is what I'm like also.
I gotta have motorcycles, I gotta have guns, I gotta have fucking shit. I gotta go out in the wilderness, and I like to do shit.
I like everyone, I like everything being open all the time. Yeah. I like people being around all the time, but not like up in your face all the time.
But now,
I like that.
As far as Yankees go, I like New Yorkers as far as Yankees go, and I liked Easties, fucking in Boston from the Easties, and I like the fucking Italians from New York, or Italians from Boston. I like them, and Irish and Italians from Boston. I liked them a lot. I did not like the tourists or the college students at all.
Nobody likes tourists anywhere ever. When you're a tourist, you kind of...
Yeah. But Boston is anal. Boston is very anal. They worry about shit. They're very... But I'll probably take New York over that. But really, today, I'm just telling you guys something. The South has risen again. The South is where it is to be right now.
Florida, bitch, I'm from here.
Florida, Texas. Those are the places to be right now.
I will tell you, look, I was born in Florida, okay?
Yeah.
It's cheap to live here. I'll give you that much.
For now.
It's cheap to live here,
you get a lot for your money.
But the jobs don't pay shit.
Jobs are gone. Jobs are now internet.
No, I'm saying I'm a graphic designer. I've been a graphic designer for 20, 25 years. graphic design jobs here pay the same as an entry-level job, maybe not even that much, as would pay up north. So I'm just saying that the standards, you know, it's cheaper to live here. I will give it that. The rent is lower. It's like lower, you know, the, you know, house prices are lower or whatever. Like, you get a nicer house for your money. But the jobs really, really do not pay that much, especially if you have like a lot of, if you have a degree, if you have work experience like I have. It's kind of like, sometimes I went to interview for jobs, and like I said, I've been a graphic designer for what, like more than 20 years. And so, like, they were offering me pay like I had just graduated from college. So just be aware of that. It is cheaper to live here, but if you have to work down here, the jobs don't pay shit.
Con says that's another shirt. Boston is asshole. Yes, Boston is asshole. That's a good one.
But like I said, I've only been to Boston once or twice, but I've been to New York a lot. I went to New York a lot, like in the 2000s, and I love that fucking place. I'm not really into like a lot of people being around, like I said, but it was kind of the same thing. It was the same reason why I loved London. Like, London is really crowded, which I normally don't like because I don't like people in general. But if there's a lot of people around, I like that they just like leave you to your own devices. Like, there's a lot of people around, but they don't want to engage with you. So I'm fine with that.
Tina says she'd like to move to Arizona, but it wasn't so hot. That's desert though. That's a dry heat. Fucking, you know, I love the desert.
You know where I really liked? I was really into, weirdly, Santa Fe. I really, really liked Santa Fe. I spent like a couple weeks there a few years ago, and I really dug it. It's very small, but there's like a big art community there. It's like really, it's cool. You can like walk around it. There's a lot of like...
How long have we been streaming?
2 hours and 37.
Okay, yeah, because, I don't know, do you guys want to continue the stream?
We have to, like, dude, I have this much drink left.
Okay, we'll finish the drink then.
I just got into this shit.
You're just getting into this? Alright.
How I ended up going to Santa Fe was that my ex-husband is an oil painter. Probably still is. I don't know. I haven't talked to him for a long time. But he was going to classes like with a guy that was an oil painter that was like a mentor of his. So he was given some classes in Santa Fe. So he's like, hey, we can go to Santa Fe. We'll spend like a couple weeks there. He's gonna go to classes. You can go do your own shit. So I spent a couple weeks in Santa Fe, like pretty much by myself because he was in classes all the time. I didn't think I'd be into it because I'm not into deserts. I don't like hot weather. I grew up in Florida, but hot weather can like kiss my ass. I don't like it. So, but I went out there and it was like, I don't know, there's something about Santa Fe that I really, really liked.
Seattle said, Tila said Seattle reminded her of a fucking cleaner version of San Francisco. Being California people, you know, and like I said...
My sister lived in Seattle for a while.
Me, kind of, in my real young phases, going between Long Beach, California, and Mississippi. You'd like Florida if it probably wasn't for the humidity. Florida really reminds me of the way Southern California was when I was a kid. Reminds me of like around the areas of Vista and San Diego. It doesn't look like that, but it's kind of like that same makeup. We're right outside of Orlando. Orlando's fucking beautiful. It looks like something out of it looks like something out of an amusement park. Real nice new city. There's some about new cities, the way they're planned, the way they look. They look a little bit like an amusement park.
Orlando is cool. I will give it that.
It's nice.
The Orlando-Tampa corridor is pretty cool in general.
It's called the I-4 corridor.
It is, yeah.
And the I-4 corridor really is mostly populated with people that have run from New York and California. You got a lot of people, mostly New York, a lot of them. They're not really from here. But they're kind of integrating into the area. But the scene kind of reminds me of a young California. It feels like the future, like a place that has a future. It doesn't feel like a place that's kind of existing in the past. That's the thing when I look at like videos of fucking Venice Beach. My mom was from Venice. I look at Venice Beach, Gold's Gym, where Arnold and everything came up. I'll look at my neighborhood out in Carson, the way it looks now. And man, my heart breaks for that place. Because those places used to be beautiful, but they're just run down. They look like something from the past. And it's just because the economy, they don't have the money to fucking upgrade any of that shit.
Well, Tila's asking here, what about the East Coast area of Florida? I'm actually from the East Coast of Florida. I'm from Daytona.
Yeah, that's where Scientologists are.
And that's
Clearwater.
That's the West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast. Sorry, yeah.
I was born and grew up first 20-something years of my life in Daytona. Now, Daytona, I don't know about Melbourne, New Smyrna, all that kind of shit. That's probably better. Daytona, I feel like when I was growing up, it was very, very rednecky. Probably because of the big NASCAR track there.
Yeah.
And, the biggest nightclub they had there was kind of like, you had like the meat market shit, which was called Razzles.
Yeah. Now hold on, Taylor.
And then you had the country bar.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was from another... Okay, Tila, let me straighten you out a little
bit.
But
I haven't been there for a while. They've been, like, building it up, but I don't know how much better it is. I haven't been there for a couple of years.
She's saying it's rednecky.
It is rednecky.
Being black and everything, that's not a problem for you. They're not fucking, like, hostile or anything. They're just regular
I don't know
people.
about that. Like, I'm just talking from my family perspective.
Right. It's just, I'm saying that's not a dangerous place for black people to move.
My grandpa, my dad, I'm just, not scaring anyone, but I'm not saying anything.
That was another era. That's another era.
Just saying.
Think about it. Think all the black people we know live in this area. They fucking love it here. Tom's fucking prospering. This fucking club and everything. No, this is a good place to move. Tila, if you're up in California, you got kids and shit. I know Cali. You'd love it here. You would.
I mean, if you can deal with the heat.
The heat. It's not the heat. It's the humidity.
Well, I know. That's what I mean. It's like Orlando is interesting because I don't know. Orlando is so weird. It's almost kind of like it's not like a southern city. Like it is, but it's not. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Because
know what you're saying.
You kind of have that southerny, rednecky Florida thing, but you also have, dude. I grew up here.
It's not though.
I grew up here. I know.
But you didn't grow up in Mississippi. It is not that kind of redneck. This is definitely has a fucking very much of a Spanish Empire fucking flavor to it.
Well, that a little bit too. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's weird because there's a lot of
and you have to understand that California kind of had
there's a Cuban influence. There's a Vietnamese kind of thing. There's a lot of Vietnamese in Florida.
It's a lot like Southern California from the 70s and early 80s.
It's a weird place.
That's what it feels like.
Saying. It's weird.
Right.
But I will say, for now, it is, you do get a little bit more for your money, rent-wise. If you want to buy a place, you probably will get a little bit more for your money here.
Versus California?
You're
fucking right.
Then you might in a bigger city, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You might get a little bit more for that.
California's ripping people off. I still got aunts and uncles over there, man. I've seen their fucking rent.
Like, in particular, like, I can see why, like I said, as much as I love New York City, for what you're paying for rent in New York City, you could get like a 5-bedroom mansion
this huge
in Florida.
This fucking huge new house is
in a decent.
This huge new house here is about a rent is under $2,000.
$1,800.
Yeah.
We pay $1,800 a month. Yeah. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. This house is 11 years old.
Yeah.
11 years old.
Yeah. And it's in a
gated community.
It's in a gated community. It's fucking got its own swimming pools. It's got everything.
It's $1,800 a month covers also
pretty much
HOA.
Yeah.
And it covers lawn care.
Yeah.
They come every week and mow the lawn and trim the hedges and all that kind of shit.
And it looks like a damn amusement park. It looks like fucking something out of Disney. Everything's all fucking, all the hedges are trimmed and the whole neighborhood looks like that. You have to.
It's a nice neighborhood. It's not one of the newer ones. They've actually like built a couple like really fancy newer ones, like less than a mile from here.
Yeah.
But
and you could never get something like this for $1,800 in California.
No.
It'd be 3 times that.
Honestly, I think, well, honestly, even in this area, like even if you want to live in downtown, like if you want to live near downtown Orlando, $1,800 is maybe gonna get you a 2-bedroom apartment, maybe.
In one of those high rises, though, probably, huh?
Yeah, like if you want to live like right by. Now we
There's
live
no
about.
need for that though.
We live 18 miles from downtown Orlando. It's 18 miles.
Yeah.
You can drive there. It's very easy. Downtown Stanford is what, 7-8 miles, something like that. There's restaurants, there's clubs and shit down there too. You know, it's not as cool, obviously, but
the living downtown factor isn't a factor in Florida. There's nothing down there except clubs. You don't have to live there.
Well, and the thing about Florida, I will say too, if you live in Florida, you can't rely on public transit. You have to have a car. Everything is far apart. Florida in general, because I feel like people that grew up in like the Northeast, you know, you can rely on public transport to a large extent, and you don't really have to have a car. In Florida, you do. If you don't have a car, you are going to be severely, severely handicapped because everything is very, 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 very far apart.
See, this is, I'm telling you right now, we could have a Miami mansion if we would sell our condo and move to Florida. Yes, you could. You could. Like, and it. You see some of them damn porn fucking scenes and shit. And they're having by the pool and all this weird shit. You see, that's here in Florida. That's Florida.
Well, how much were they? Okay,
Florida's all Disney, and the porn scene has replaced fucking Hollywood. It's all here.
Well, all the porn is.
All the porn's here. Yeah, and that's Tampa and Miami. That's where all that is. Florida is very orderly. It has a good local government, and you're talking about the way Hollywood and San Francisco used to look in the 50s. That's kind of the way fucking New Florida looks. It's just run a lot better, and you just get a lot more for your money, and it's just I like it here versus California.
Well, like how much? Okay,
it's a lot better than Brazil.
Here's what
there's a lot of Brazilians here.
There are.
A lot of Brazilians here. They move.
Well, there's a lot of everyone from here.
Fucking Brazilian markets.
Which is probably why I-4 is such a nightmare.
I can still get all the Brazilian soft drinks and all the fucking Brazilian food that I grew up with. I got guaraná on the fucking back of the refrigerator and everything. But it does have a very Hispanic feel to it.
You know what's weird,
too? She grew up here, so she doesn't really know.
No, I do, though. But you know what's weird, too, is that, you know, there are so many British expats that live in Central Florida, Orlando, Tampa, shit like that, that if you go, seriously, you can go in the Publix a mile up the street, and there's like a little British section. There's all the British candy bars. There's all that. So even if you're British, you can fucking, and they have that in Tampa as well, because there are so many like British expats living here. But what I was going to say was that now we pay $1,800 a month, which, like I said, includes lawn care, all that kind of, and HOA fees and all that. Now, how much...
They must be getting bored because we're losing all our listeners.
How much did our landlords... They wanted to sell us this house. How much...
What's that?
Did they say that this house...
$375.
Okay.
So
this house...
They wanted
$375,000.
But in California, this would be like over $1 million house.
So this house that we live in is... How many square feet?
I don't know, Jenny. It's big, but like I'm saying...
I think it's... for 1,500 to 1,600, something like that. It's 4 bedroom, 3 bath.
In California, this would be more than $1 million. This house.
Oh, easily.
Easily, probably 1.3.
It's a large. It's large.
Yeah, but here it's under 400,000.
And
wait a
I
minute,
mean,
no. I think he wanted $425 for this. I think he wanted $425.
which, like I said,
He tried to sell it to me,
for
and I'm
the
like,
area, this is not that bad.
yeah.
For the area, it's not that bad. For a house this size, because this is a pretty big house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Now,
old.
Nakan said for $1,800 a month, you could in Mexico, you could get a castle with your own private beach. And fucking Con, man,
See,
I ain't bullshitting
idea.
you, bro.
I'm into that idea.
I'm into that. I'm into that.
Move me down there.
I have no. I love South America. I'm sure I could. Speaking Portuguese, I could fake Spanish.
I'll learn Spanish.
I'll learn that quick.
I took it for 2 or 3 years. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I would love to move to Mexico if I had a fucking good place and fucking had friends in the cartels. If I had friends give me that cartel fucking cover action, I could go down there and live in my castle. I'll have you and your wife over, man, and your kids. We'll take pictures like fucking. God, we'll have a fucking Dia de los Muertos fucking photo shoot. Dress up like fucking skeletons and shit. With our top hats. And our fucking... The women, we'll put them in veils. We'll have some lever action carbines. It'll be like some shit straight out of... It'll be like some shit...
He's got a whole thing.
Yeah, it'll be... Well, we already
out.
talked about that shit. We were going to fucking... It'd be like straight out of Fistful of Dollars. Yeah. Because fucking... I think the future is in Mexico. Future's in Mexico. I don't think it's going to be back in Brazil, though. I think Brazil's permanently fucked.
Honestly, I am not averse
I think
to...
Mexico is fucking going to do well. It's going to take time. But I
don't mind living in the U.S., most of the time.
Yeah.
But, I'm not averse to, living in other countries. Yeah. I honestly kind of... I considered living in Europe. I considered living in Canada. I considered living lots of other places. So, I don't have a particular...
Tila said that this house would be about $700,000 in the Bay Area. Probably.
Yeah. I think about, $425, I think he said.
Xanadu says, what the fuck is Tom on about? I'm saying that, Xanadu, man, if we have to, man, we're going to run to Mexico. There are people... Now, this is... People, their heads are fucking... wigging. They don't understand it. You look at Mexico today, it's not the Mexico that I knew when I was a kid. It's fucking nice. You have people from Southern California, white people from Southern California, say, fuck Cali. They moved south to Mexico, to Tijuana. The fucking work hours are better. The fucking apartments are better.
Well,
and it's got good food. I've seen it on TV.
I'll eat anything.
Seen that shit on TV. Hell yeah.
To be honest with you, it's like now that I have made the transition from working an actual job, which I hated, and having to commute to places, to scrabbling to earn a living on the internet, which I'm doing, but it's stressful, but I'll work it out. But that's one thing that I feel like people that shit on the internet, dude, if you know what you're doing, you can make enough money to live on. Not a lot. I'm not making a lot. I'm making enough to live on. But that's cool, though. Which means that if I wanted to move around, I could. I'm going to wait until all this fucking COVID shit is over. Because I don't want to, give my cooties to anybody. But if we could move to another country, what are you doing?
I got my charging cables.
See, they came. You thought it was some big conspiracy to deny you of your charging cables, but there they are. How many did you get? 5 of them?
Yeah, they were only $10. Got all
Holy
these cables.
Shit, you got a better deal than me.
Yeah, I got a bulk deal. Yeah, another.
Mine were $13 for 3 of them.
Another country that's supposed to be swinging is fucking Poland.
Poland's
supposed to be doing real well right now.
We were talking about that the other day. I was like, well, I would not be I don't know. It would be hard because, dude, I speak English, a tiny bit of Spanish, and a tiny bit of French. That's it. So it's like if I have to move, look, my stepmom is Polish, so I'm not averse, but man, moving to Eastern Europe, it would be a big deal, but I don't know. I could deal with it. Whatever. I could deal with anything.
The food's supposed to be great.
I'll eat anything also.
That's doing good. Yeah, he was saying in fucking Cancun, you can have your house with your own cenote. Fucking Xanada's asking fucking Con for refugee status.
Zach says Polish dudes are hot as fuck.
This was Zach. Yeah, Zach is dating a.
My stepmom is Polish. Katrina.
Yeah.
My dad. Are they married? I don't even know. They own a 7-Eleven together.
Tila said her peeps are expatriating to Portugal. Yeah, Portugal fucking. Portugal, people have a funny accent in Portuguese. It's not like they've got potatoes in their mouths. But it's near Spain.
Well, Brazilian Portuguese and
Brazilian
Portugal
Portuguese
are different. Well, it's just kind of like anything. It's like Spanish and like Mexican Spanish or you know. But like I said, I'm not averse to like.
All right, so you guys have any more questions, or should we go ahead and check out? We've been on for a couple hours already.
Wait, I'm not done with my drink yet.
Okay, well we can.
I'm having a good time.
You having a good time? She's fucking loaded. She's gonna.
How many cables? There's 5 of them.
No, there was 4 cables. Yeah, there was 5. Yeah, there was 5. You're right.
Thank you. I can count.
They're good too. They're like in some kind of a braided. Feels like a braided Kevlar. Or braided...
Zach says I'd kill to move to Norway. I've always been kind of like fascinated with moving to like Scandinavian countries.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but...
Tila says Jenny's feeling no pain.
I'm not.
She's going off about where she's going to move and everything now.
Well, I know. I'm like fantasizing about it now. I'm like, well...
They're telling me... Senator's telling me to go buy the old Metal Gear games. What, are they better than fucking Part 5?
Those are fun, the ones that you have.
Yeah.
I love that the fucking character in there is like based on Snake Plissken, right?
Yeah.
With the eye patch and the mullet and everything.
Con saying, go look up Nayat Riviera. What's it called? Nayat Riviera. It's a beautiful ocean. He's talking about places in Mexico, I think.
I mean, ideally, if I was going to move somewhere, I want to move somewhere with seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida is just fucking...
It's so depressing.
Kind of cool, kind of cold, and then hot and humid, too.
That's one thing that always bummed me out about Florida.
I thought I was supposed to give these people fucking some AMSR and kind of relieve them of stress.
Well, you can, but I'm just saying, like, look, okay, here's the thing.
Let me tell you people
something. Shut up. Okay, I was born in Florida, okay? So I can... Thank you.
All right.
So I can tell you, if you want to move to Florida, okay. 1, it's cheap to live here, okay? But 2, if you need to work here, they're not going to pay you that much. The pay is shit, okay? So I'm telling you that right now. But it is cheaper to live here. 3...
That's why it's cheaper to live here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You get more for your money. Like, if you have a bunch of money, like if you have, like, an inheritance or something, yeah, move down here.
Right.
And you can afford air conditioning and a big house and shit. If you have to work down here, I wouldn't recommend it. Because, like, the jobs do not pay shit. Okay. But I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah.
Now, no, they don't.
Yeah, I know, but here's the deal. I lived in Boston and worked, okay? Made a shit ton of money and couldn't afford a place like this. Not in Boston. It all kind of works out. Fucking,
It does, but it honestly, I have
out.
to say, though, it bums me out when, like me, okay. I went to college to be a graphic designer. I got a degree and everything.
Yeah, Tom switched hats.
A long time ago.
A long time ago.
You put your Crocodile Dundee hat on.
Fuck this shit. I'm going back to fucking Wigs.
He's going back to the Michael Caine wig.
I'm going back to Michael Caine.
He's going back to the toxic masculinity.
I'm going back to toxic masculinity.
He might strangle me. We'll see.
I'm going back to toxic masculinity with
Stay
this shit.
tuned. You know what I mean?
Is he fucking you?
Who's he?
Let me ask you something.
Wait a minute. Who's he? Who are we talking about?
Who's that dude that's fucking giving the yoga classes?
I don't go to yoga classes, but okay. But yeah, so I'm saying that I'm just saying that I got a degree in graphic design a long time ago, like in 1997. And it kind of bums me out, like, to see people in other cities, like, making 2 or 3 times, like, what I would make here in Florida. So I'm just saying that if you still have to work for a living, I'm not sure I would recommend Florida, because Florida's, the wages are very low. But if you already have a shit ton of money, then probably Florida's a good way to go, because it's a very cheap. You get a lot for your money.
That's already happening.
That's what I'm saying.
You have people that are making money, or were making...
If you have to work for a living, yeah, no, don't. But
you had people who were making a bunch of money in New York all moving here and fucking... This is where their summer houses.
Which, like I said, I don't blame them for that.
Little Swole's parents have fucking summer homes here.
I don't blame you for that. If you already have money, yeah, it's cheap.
But it all kind of works out. But I think it kind of works out more for your advantage. If you can get a job here, or if you know how to make, actually you can make enough just on the internet. If you're a family, you got 2 people working, you can afford a pretty good place. I mean, where we're at now is not the best deal. There are better deals out there, especially out more towards the country. Because if you're not commuting, you can live out there. There's shit out there for $750 a month.
If you're willing to live, if you don't have to commute to downtown, which a lot of people don't nowadays, if you can live in the suburbs, you can actually get a lot for your money in Florida. I will say that. If you still have to work and commute, I would not recommend it. That's all I'm saying. Because commuting on I-4 is a nightmare. And also, even if you have to, like a professional job, you have a degree and stuff, you are not going to get paid half of what you would get somewhere else. But I'm just saying, if you already made your money, you're retired. This is why, like, a lot of retired people move down here. If you're retired and you have a lot of money and you want to, like, make your shit go farther, then yeah, move down here. And if you can take the humidity, which, it's a lot, okay? I'm just telling you, it's a lot to deal with.
See, Tila says you could clean up in the Bay Area with graphic design.
I probably could.
But your rent and mortgage would be outrageous.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a trade-off. And
here's another thing that she's not... I know those areas that we're talking about. I've lived in them. The quality of living here is a lot better. You don't have to worry about bumper-to-bumper traffic, fucked up neighborhoods. You don't have to worry about... The population density is not as intense in here. Now, there is in certain areas, like if you go more towards downtown. But really, those aren't really the best deals. The best deals are all out in the suburbs or out in the country. I mean, you go up... You can drive 5 minutes up towards... Oh, what's the name of this fucking place? Eustis. And there's shit out there, fucking nice, big-ass houses for fucking $750, $800 a month. They just are. Now, they're something from the 60s. You know what I mean? With those fucking bricks, they don't look too posh. But still, they're pretty big fucking houses. Stuff that was made in the 60s and the 80s. There's stuff out there that's fucking very reasonable. And you just don't find things like that out in California. Everything in California is
I'm just saying that you have to consider...
And you don't find that in New England, stuff like that in New England.
Right, but you have to consider what your lifestyle is, what your job is,
what your priorities are.
It's like, look, if you are independently wealthy, or you can work at home, and you already have money, like you can, work from your house, and you can deal with humidity and roaches and various other things, then okay, move to Florida. You can get a lot more for your money, and you don't have to leave your house that much. You don't have to drive on I-4. You don't have to deal with the humidity. That's fine.
And the commute is nowhere near as bad here as it would ever be in California.
I mean, if you have to go to a job, if you have to like go to a job and like fucking, I wouldn't recommend it. But other than that, I don't like the weather here. I gotta say, I'm not super into. I'm not into hot weather.
I've lived all over. I like this area. Some people who were born in this area and lived in this area their whole life, they're kind of spoiled. I think they have it a lot better than they think they do. They go visit other places and go visit in other countries, and you know what I mean, for small periods of time, and it all just kind of works out. The standard of living here, I think, is better. That's just my take on it.
But like I said, it depends. It
depends on your situation, you know. But the economy here, I think, is easier to deal with.
I would not recommend it for everybody.
The Boston economy was extremely when I was there, was extremely cutthroat. Any weakness and you're gone. Only successful people can live in Boston. Just the way it is. If you don't have any money, you lose your job, you're fucking out of there. They don't want you there. The corporations are like that too. It's just, if you're not at the top of your game, then you have to leave Boston. That's how it is. Unless you go down to Eastie, you know, and then you be some, you know, out in the fucking Irish hood. But there's nothing really going on there. I thought it was kind of boring. I'd rather have fucking more of a rural area where you could do other things. But look, that's not what the point of this show is. Do you guys have any questions?
Is there any point of the show?
I
thought that was the whole point of the show. Was
she's
that
not
there
feeling
was no
any pain.
Point.
She's not feeling any pain. She's gone down this direction. Do you guys have any questions about any kind of cases or anything like that? Because I can answer.
You still have your cocaine wig on.
The cocaine what?
The Michael Caine wig, I said.
Yeah, I got the Michael Caine wig on, yeah. I thought you said the Michael Cocaine. The Michael Cocaine wig.
No, I said the Michael Caine wig.
Because, you know, I'm gonna go down to the South Florida.
Are you going the
Miami,
toxic
I'm gonna bring the cocaine in.
The only thing I'm into from Miami is Cuban sandwiches.
Yeah, that's good.
Gotta say.
Tom, you look like a little orphan Annie. These bitches are fucking with me, ain't that something?
You do kinda.
Yeah.
Wait, did you live hooking?
Been a pleasure listening to you guys tonight. Thank you. That's what Rick Shaw said. Thank you, Rick.
This is fun. We're gonna do this every week, right?
Yeah, if you want, if the audience likes it, we'll do it every week. We'll sit
here. Wait,
you guys.
You guys. Did you show my new game?
No, you do it.
Get it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you guys.
Now that most people have left.
Now that most people have left.
Show them this.
I got this today. You guys know, like, you guys that are longtime listeners, I design board games. This is my new one. This is Billy Diodati. This is based on Percy Shelley, Mary Shelley, Lord Byron, you know, The Haunted Summer, where Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. So, this whole game, basically, you have to play Lord Byron, Mary Shelley, Percy Shelley, Claire Claremont, or John Polidori. You have to play one of those dudes, and you have to gather enough cards to, like, put together your great masterwork before somebody, like, drives you insane. There's some cool fate cards. It's super fun. It's a board game. And this is one that I designed a while back, and I just now put it for sale. For today. I'm just saying. I just got this, like, fucking shit today. And I'm very excited. So I'm just telling you.
Are you guys, are these people in bed? Are you guys in bed?
Wait, what time is it?
I don't know. I thought they were in bed listening to us.
It's only 8 o'clock.
It's only 8 o'clock? Okay.
I mean, I've gone to bed at 8 o'clock, but I felt really bad about it.
So I'm hearing that music and I'm going like, man, I'd fucking be up in bed listening to that shit.
I just had to, like, say that because... Yeah. I feel like I don't plug it enough because...
David June coming in here. Fucking Tom, tell us about grits. Are they made with or with... What? Are they made better with or without? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Like,
man.
somebody... Okay.
Bitches are always trying to fucking troll me into talking about...
Before the shit even started. For some reason, I just remembered this. Before the shit even started, while we still had the, like, coming soon shit on, somebody asked if putting cheese in grits was permissible. And I said, nay.
Man, that shit's required, man.
Yeah, I said it's not even permissible, it's required. You need to put cheese in the grits. You need to put bacon in the grits. You need to put... But honestly, anything that you want to eat, you can put donuts in the grits. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying you can put that in the grits if you want to. Yeah, cheese is good in grits. I don't know why it wouldn't be. David June says still boozing here. So are we. This is my third, but they're so big that maybe, I don't know, 6? What is it, Wednesday? Holy shit. I'm not a drunk. Maybe I am a drunk. I'm gonna own it. Look at this. He left the hat and the wig on the mouse. Love trolling Tom on his southern food. Seriously, I haven't had grits in such a long time. It's like, I feel I'm on a diet, so I'm trying to lose 50 pounds by end of March. And I've lost 10 pounds already, so I'm getting there. But, you know, oh, okay. But I don't know, man. I feel guilty about eating anything. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying. I eat whatever I want.
You eat whatever you want.
I eat whatever I want to eat, but nah, and I'm just lying.
And then you
I cut back on the shit. I cut back on it.
Jenny, did you put the Michael Caine wig on?
What?
Oh, I don't think I've ever put that.
Yeah,
okay, give me that shit. All right.
I'm trying to go into
Where's
cutting.
The front?
Oh, you'll find it. I'm trying to put the.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the cutting phase in where I lose a bunch of weight because I gained a bunch of fucking muscle working out. Now I gotta lose weight so I can get some cut. That look. Yeah, you like a little orphan Annie. Actually, it looks good on you.
I feel like I should be in the musical Chicago.
Yeah.
He had it
exactly.
coming.
Yeah.
He
That's
had
it.
it coming.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
That's the first thing I thought of. I don't know.
Yeah. Rick says he's never had grits. Dude, man. Where do you live?
Okay, well, okay,
How did all this grits shit go down? Because I talked about grits a couple times. Everybody wants to talk about grits now.
Okay, well, grits are a thing. Like, grits, a lot of people like to shit on grits. But the thing about grits is that they are a palette that you may paint upon to your liking. I mean, they're no different than polenta. They're no different than, like, bread, even. You could do the same shit with grits that you could do. Because they have little flavor of their own.
They don't have a flavor, no.
That's what I mean. You know, and I don't mean that as like fucking to shit on them or anything, but they don't have a lot of flavor on their own, so they're kind of like a canvas that you can put your own shit on. So, I mean, I always liked them with just like butter, salt, pepper, shit like that, but you can do whatever you want with them. You can put like fucking boiled eggs in there.
Rick's from England. He says they don't have grit trees there. Yeah. I'm fucking with you when I say the grit trees. Grits do not come off trees. Well. And there is no season for grits.
Yeah, we're joking.
It's corn, man. It's corn. They're seeing that fucking wig look great on you. Put that wig back on, Jen. You're gonna fucking put the fluffy blonde wig back on.
I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this. Wait, where's the gap? Okay. Alright, here it goes. Who do I look like?
Yeah.
I remind myself of somebody.
It looks good. You look cute like that. We gotta get you a big old perm, Jenny. Big old fucking big.
Trust me, I've tried.
Big old.
Back in the 80s, like I said, I really, really wanted curly hair because my hair is like fucking straight, you guys. You don't know. And my great aunt was a hairdresser. And she used to come over to my grandma's house and she would give me a perm all the time. And I would be super excited because the perm would hold for a day and then like the next day the perm would fall out. Yeah. My hair wants to be straight and it just will not brook any insurrection against the straightness. It does not want a curl. It just won't. So.
So you like Marilyn Monroe and you should be working in a diner. Yeah.
Happy birthday,
Mr. President.
Mr. President. I don't know. I don't like it.
You don't like it? I think it looks good. Let's go.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not the best judge of like what looks good or not.
Let's go.
Like I said, the first thing I thought of was Chicago.
Yeah.
Makes me want to kill a dude.
Well, I think it's time to end the stream, Jay.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Looks like people are fucking leaving the stream.
Are they?
So, what time is it now?
8:09.
8:09 over here.
Okay.
And we got shit we gotta do, so.
I was having such a good time.
She doesn't want to stop the stream.
No, I don't.
Okay, you don't have to. So you look like little orphan Annie.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Looking great, Jenny. That's what Dad says. Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Maybe I should start wearing some wigs.
Just wear some wigs, man.
Give me that red one. I'll wear that one now.
Okay.
That was my Amy wig.
Yeah.
Now this one I liked because this one... Oh, shit. I forgot. Somebody asked me earlier what my natural hair color was.
Red.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show you a picture? Here it is. Here it is. This is my natural hair color. Bonk.
Look at it. That's a little baby bat.
That was 1996?
Yeah.
1997.
That's the way little goth girls looked in the 90s.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's what color my hair was.
Yep.
So, I'm not lying.
Yep.
I'm not lying. That's what my hair color was. Just saying. So, I totally forgot that I had the picture of that. Somebody asked me about that before. But yeah, so this is kind of close.
Now, Khan wants to know it's a good idea for a show is the famous UFO sightings from the United States.
Well, I put Phoenix Lights in there. Look at what I'm doing. Well, I have to cover
Tila
it.
says, wigs are awesome, Jenny. You can be a different girl any day of the week. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have my shit
Yeah.
Wait, where are my bangs? Okay.
See, Jenny doesn't understand the long, big hair. It looks good on her. Look at that. Ready for your next porn scene, Jenny.
Sure.
Put your big old fucking boots on.
Wait, shit.
Watch the Project Blue Book series. It's on History Channel. All right.
We have to watch the octopus one first.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna watch the Octopus. My friend the Octopus tonight. Still early. Margo says, Jenny, you're a great redhead, man, like a blonde girl. Jenny's hot. Jenny's hot.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tom forgets that sometimes.
No, listen to her. Said Jenny's hilarious. You're saying you cute.
I'm a Dorica.
Said you look like a mermaid. Yeah. Look like the mermaid, little mermaid.
Oh my god, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
She gets drunk, she starts hamming up shit.
No.
Yeah.
My aspirational, my aspirational Halloween costume. It's in my face. My aspirational Halloween costume. Okay, you guys watched Dagon, right? Because we did a review on it. Okay, so the chick that was in Dagon, that was, the head of the cult or whatever.
Yeah.
She was in the wheelchair, but also she had tentacles.
Little Spanish girl.
And then she had,
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Come with me. You have to.
Yes, I want to do that for a Halloween costume so bad.
I
need tentacles. I need a wheelchair. I need the fucking gold crown. I need. See,
even T, man, you've been around for 33. You know your shit. Tila, for 33, you know your shit about fucking Dagon.
Wait, what she said?
She thought how great Dagon was. It's a fucking great movie.
See, that's seriously that costume.
I had that bitch on Blu-ray. I had to special order that shit on Bluray.
And what's her face from Flash Gordon? What's her name?
I forgot.
Kala?
Yeah, General
Okay.
Kala.
That and the chick from Dagon, those are my aspirational Halloween costume.
Flash Gordon approaching.
Oh, and also my
Flash Gordon
aspirational
approaching.
Halloween costume previously was I wanted to be the Hindu goddess. What's the one with all the arms?
Kali.
Yeah, Kali. But then like Heidi Klum fucked that shit up because she did like a really awesome costume of that and she messed it up. Like I can't do it now because I'm too broke to like afford how awesome that was. But seriously, chick from Dagon, and I'm into this.
You're now into that shit? She's into that shit, see? Her hair was growing long, and she's like, it's too heavy, I'm cutting it off. And I was like, okay.
One night, well, seriously, one night I was drunk. I don't even think you watched me. I was drunk one night.
And your hair was gone.
And, well, okay. The thing about dudes. Well,
the thing about dudes, what do I have to do with you cutting your hair?
You like long hair.
I like long hair, yeah.
But you don't have to deal with it on a daily basis.
Right.
So
well, I left that on you. That's on you.
Yeah, exactly. So my hair was so long that it was, 1, pissing me off. 2, it was always in my face. 3, it was always clogging up the shower drain.
Oh, hold on.
Which was another thing. So one night I got a little bit, like I wasn't drunk, but I was a little bit inebriated. And I was like, you know what? I'm cutting this shit off. So I just went in the bathroom and I just like cut it off to my shoulders. Because it was down to almost my butt. And, it was super heavy.
Mango's fucking, he's trying to get me to do General Kyle's voice again.
Dispatch war rocket Ajax to bring back his body.
Remember when she said that?
Well, do you remember a year or two ago, we were thinking about, we were going to go
I wish I was fucking Russian. Should have either been born Italian, Russian, or black. I should have been fucking one of those three.
Bring back war rocket Ajax.
Russian. The Russians are just not normal white people. They're fucking not, man.
It's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
They have the whole other thing.
They're not
but
fucking normal.
I respect that.
Yeah,
That's cool. But you know what I mean? So a couple years ago, not last year, but the year before Halloween, we were thinking about doing, you were going to be, what's his ass with the fucking metal mask from Flash Gordon? What's his face?
Oh, that was fucking, shit.
Help me.
Yeah, I will.
You know.
That was General Kala and fucking, Clytus.
Clytus, there you go.
Clytus, yeah.
So he was going to be Clytus, and I was going to be General Kala.
Yeah.
And then we were watching the movies and we were studying, and I was just kind of like, and I did all this research. It's like, man, okay, so we have to make these costumes, and I'm going to I figured out how to make them, and it was going to be really expensive. And then I was kind of like, well, I really want to do this, but if we're not going anywhere, if we're going, to a horror convention, then I would spend the money.
We were actually working conventions at the time.
We were. So we were thinking about, hey, we should do this for the next convention.
Right.
We're going to be Kala and Clytus.
Yeah, and fucking, I just kind of looked into what it would take to make a Clytus outfit. You're talking about $1,000. I probably would have spent it, though.
If you wanted it to look good,
yeah,
I mean.
About $1,000. And fucking, the thing is that I have to make a lot of that shit by hand. There were a lot of these little fucking plastic fucking tubes. I forgot what they're called. They're like little lucite tubes. To make General Kala's fucking wig.
Which,
General
Kala, she had a whole thing there and a whole headpiece.
Those were very expensive costumes, and you have to make them by hand. They were originally made by hand. But I would love to go as Clytus and fucking have you as General
I'm
Kala.
still into that. I still want to do that.
The thing is about Clytus is that the General Clytus costume, his arm was a solid piece of fucking gold. Yeah. I think I would have modified it so it had a hinge on it like a robotic arm.
Well, you want to make it functional.
Make it more functional, because I don't want to sit there with a straight arm all day. You know what I mean? But that would have been pretty cool for some of the conventions that.
But I did look into, because I really, really wanted to make the General Kala, at least her headpiece. But when I was looking at that, it was like, man, they had all these fucking lucite pieces, and it's it was probably cheap to make back then, but nowadays, probably be really expensive to make. I don't know. I still want to do it. But I still want to do the fucking chick from Dagon, too.
We got Zach in there talking about all the different kind of European guys he's been dating. Zach, and Russians and Finnish people. We got Taylor saying she's going to make some vodka and pomegranate. Yeah, vodka and pomegranate works pretty good. That's pretty good.
Vodka goes with everything.
Goes with anything.
That's why it's the best booze.
Yeah. And then fucking Badger says, yeah, give you some of that, Taylor. Give you some of that vodka and pomegranate.
This is my... I mean, vodka's my go-to. Vodka doesn't have a flavor of its own other than...
Drunk. The flavor is drunk.
Yeah, it's drunk flavor.
Drunk flavor.
So you can mix it with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever I have in the fridge. Do I have apple juice in the fridge? Do I have fucking Bailey's in the fridge? Do I have whatever?
Everybody hit that like button, please. Hit that like button. Help us out. Yeah.
I know we're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know. We're getting to a point. Look, I have a fucking red curly wig on.
Yeah. Do you want to make another drink?
Sure.
So you're enjoying the stream, and now all of a sudden, man, these people, come on. I'll make you a half.
Okay. I'm getting into like the wig action. It's red. This is seriously, this is like my natural hair color, so I'm always kind of like having a flashback to the old days. But yeah, so although like I said, I never had curly hair, much as I wanted it. Never worked out. I think the longest time that it lasted was maybe 48 hours. I kept asking because, like I said, I grew up in the 80s and perms were very much the thing. So my great aunt Betty, thank you. My great aunt Betty was a hairdresser. And she would come over to my grandma's house where we all hung out at. Some of us lived at. It was kind of like the way station in
T's telling you get a bunch of wigs.
Daytona. I have a couple.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite.
T black. Okay.
I know.
She's gonna fucking tell a white girl to get all these goddamn wigs. You're gonna get her into that fake hair shit, like y'all do. You're gonna fucking corrupt her. Next thing you know, every time I turn around, it's a different kind of woman.
Why?
It's going to be a different...
Why would you have a problem with that?
Tila's fucking putting the blackness on you. I can't understand it, Tila.
Well, because I feel like dudes...
Nah, I understand. Tila, you're right, man. She does need some bunch of different hair.
Dudes
bunch of different hairs.
I got hairs.
Different kind of hairs.
Dudes in general, they have a thing where...
She says, Tom will have a blast.
That's what I'm saying. Dudes in general, they have this weird thing where it's like, I don't like to hang out with the same person. Like, I love you, but I don't like to hang out with the same person all the time.
Everybody's going to have a wig party. See, she's trying to fuck it down.
So they're always kind of like, well, I want it to still be you, but, like, not look like you. So they have that thing.
No, you have to understand something. This is straight. See, Tila knows the deal.
They have that thing.
Tila understands the way men work. Men are animals, okay?
Yeah,
and
no shit.
Working in the horse industry, I will tell you, if you have the same broodmare and the same fucking stud, you're trying to fucking breed horses, sometimes putting another mare next to that broodmare will fucking get that stud interested in that mare again. Because he's already had sex with her. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
So you got to get him fucking riled up to have sex with her again, sometimes putting another female next to it. Now, I've heard that fucking changing the color of that mare will get him to do that.
Because dudes are simple. And
no,
like all
it doesn't have anything to do with that.
What do you mean,
because it's evolutionary pre-programming.
Yeah, simple.
It's for males of all species.
Yeah,
is
simple.
that it's a simple reaction about this is
it.
a new one, impregnate this one.
Right.
You're programmed for that.
Right, y'all are dumb, so you have to like...
It's not the dumbness. See, look at how these women are. It's not a dumbness. It's just that was the reproductive strategy that fucking survived and was genetically enforced over the millennia, not only within human males, but all males are like that.
Right, yellow down.
It's not that. Oh man, these bitches. It's not that. It's not.
Don't be such a snowflake.
You're trying to moralize something that is not moral. Okay, it's just a function. It's a function of men, the way they work. Men are not so much attracted to beauty. They're not so much attracted to fucking this or that. What men are attracted to really is novelty.
Novelty, sure.
Novelty. Just the fact that it's
No, we know that.
That's all it is. You know what I mean? Men like novelty. And males of all species like novelty. So this is the fucking upside and the downside of it, girls. In a way, don't take the shit personally. Which that's kind of, I would think that would be insulting to a woman. That it's not really personal to us. But in a certain way it is. If he stays with you for a long amount of time, then it is personal. Because it's not just the sex. It's who you are. If he hits and fucking moves on, then it wasn't personal. That's the difference.
Well, yeah, I think
that's
we all
that's
understand.
the difference. All right. I mean, me and you were friends and hanging out when we were with other people. You were married.
I was married, and then I was fucking a couple other dudes.
Yeah, and I was dating Disney princesses and shit. We were double dating.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
We were trying to like one up each other.
Yeah, because we were friends. We were scenesters.
I think I fucked.
We were scenesters.
2 or 3 other dudes.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah. And I was dating fucking other women.
At least 2, maybe more.
But we were buddies. We were buddies before all the shit between me and you went down anyway.
We were.
In a way, we kind of became business partners before we were even fucking in a relationship. So that actually, women might be, what the fuck is that all about? But to dudes that are listening to this, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. It's a totally different dynamic. For us, that's a little more serious.
Well, it's kind of weird how me and you happened.
It was a different fucking type of
Because when me and you met, because like I said,
she was married.
This is a no topic show. I was married to another dude.
Yeah.
When I met you.
He was a barbarian.
Well,
he was a barbarian from somewhere up in the fucking UK.
He's Welsh.
I couldn't even understand that dude. I was talking to him. He's like, what the fuck did that dude say?
Dude, it was a regular Welsh accent. It was a British accent.
Okay, I was drunk at the time. I was in the club.
Yeah, clearly.
I had to ask her. I was like, what did he say? I couldn't get it.
It wasn't that one. He's fine. He's a lovely man.
Oh, right.
So, in case you're watching, he's a lovely man. I don't have anything against him. It's just that, okay, so I met that dude, man, we got married when I was 22, 23, very young. Now, we were married for 14, 15 years. And then, at some point, I met you, and I was kind of like, man, I'm like kind of getting sick of this whole marriage thing. It's like, I don't know if this is working out the way I, like, planned. Me and my now ex-husband, I was kind of like, look, I gotta do my own thing, man. Like, just chill out with the shit. So he was like fine with it. He was like, all right, well, we're gonna get divorced, but just do what you want. Okay, so I just did what I wanted for a while. So, you know, shit happened at the time.
She was in there fucking laughing. She laughing at me. Men are so simple.
They are. Well,
that men are visual creatures.
They are. Well, honestly, and I don't mean this as like, I know a lot of dudes are watching this, but like seriously.
See, sisters understand.
From a girl's point of view.
Sisters understand.
From a girl's point of view. Dudes are kind of like your children. They're like children. They're like your children.
That's some shit. Ain't that some shit?
I don't think I'm being controversial here. I'm just saying that's kind of how you approach it. It's kind of like you approach them like children because that's kind of like what they act like and that's kind of like what they, I mean, I don't know.
DJ Maniac says there's no more fucking scene in New York because of the pandemic. Everybody's left, man. Look, man, let me tell you something, Maniac. I fucking feel for you, bro. whenever I passed through New York, I had a good time. I had a good time down the fucking village and shit.
Man, I fucking love
And
I went to the Drop Dead
your
Festival,
mayor,
like,
man, what's his name? Cuomo fucked that shit up. And now he's like, oh, you know what? These lockdowns, we're not going to have anything when we open back up. He's now trying to reverse that shit. Yeah, dude. That's what they fucking told you. Our governor, you got people that don't like him, but I like DeSantis because he was moderate. He's like, yeah, you do the mask, do the social distancing. Don't worry so much about the lockdowns. That's on you guys. And it was so much better here. It did not fucking destroy all the restaurants in New York are fucking gone. At least the restaurants we liked, they're still open. They still exist.
Well,
so it's
because they were able to. I mean, the restaurants that are around here,
they worked it out.
They worked it out. I mean, the Indian restaurant that we were into.
That's all I care about.
They don't do the buffet anymore, obviously, because that's super germy. But they still do takeout, and you can still eat in there as long as you're.
I argue as having a fucking background in food service that a fucking buffet is germy. They're not that germy.
They're always germy. Come on.
No, because that buffet had the fucking plate, had the fucking glass, and it's not. Is
that just for show though?
No, and it's not as risky as you think. Nowhere near as what you think. They blew that shit out of fucking proportion.
Well, in normal circumstances, I would agree.
It's not a big deal. That fucking don't make me mad. Look, flu is flu. That's what it is. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to get fucking banned through this bullshit here. Look, there's always blessings.
Yeah, don't be.
I'm mad. There's always blessings in disguise. And the blessing that we're having now is a diversification. I like diversification and a non-centralization. They're diversifying the internet. There should not, just like back in the days of the railroad. When the railroad was a bunch of monopolies, they fucking dominated the United States. People thought the world was going to end because of the fucking railroads. The railroads had their own court systems that would pass death sentences on fucking employees. There were places on the railroad where there's fucking hundreds of fucking Irish dead bodies and Chinese dead bodies and mass burials that nobody really knows what the fuck happened. These big corporations are a fucking risk. And big tech is a fucking risk to everybody. They need to fucking, this top-down centralized system that these fuckers want for monopolistic purposes and power. Everything has to diversify. Diversifying everything is the key to making everyone happy and to stop all this fucking fighting. Look, I fought for the fucking United States, and I hate what I'm seeing in the country, and even just like what they said in the comments, social media has been very destructive because it is not diversified. That's the problem. Everybody needs to fucking just try to get through the time. Everybody needs to get through this hard time and understand that a motherfucker loves you. Don't believe what those fuckers say.
Well, we love you.
This is a fucking good country. It is not a bad country. Fucking trying to make the shit worse will come back and bite you in the fucking ass. This shit will pass. It's divided right now, but in a way it's artificially divided. It's not as divided as you think it is. They're making it divided because it benefits them. The biggest divisions in this fucking country, I've seen the data, don't have anything to do between white and black or this. The biggest divisions are between who has a college degree and who doesn't. That's where the biggest degree is.
Oh my goodness, I have a college degree.
Yeah, that's the biggest. All you gotta do is look at the money. Look at the money. That's the biggest division.
I have a college degree, but
she got $1. Yeah, that's really where the division is. It's not all this other shit is about making other people fucking money and giving them power. Don't believe the fucking hype. All right, but America's coming back. It's gonna come back. It's gonna take time.
I told you, man. Chill out.
I'm fucking pissed about this shit. But hold on. It's getting late. It's getting late in the show.
Dude.
Getting late in the show and lock it.
Knock it out. Knock it out.
Tila said, put on a wig, girlfriend. I don't know what she's talking about.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel so pretty right now. I feel so pretty with my fat arms. But yeah, so, what was I going to say? Dude, please calm down.
I'm not calm.
Seriously. I mean, I know what this shit is. I'm not gonna get started on the politics because it'll hurt your feelings.
Didn't have anything to do with politics.
It's gonna hurt your feelings. But I'm not gonna get started on that.
Doesn't have anything to do with
I'm
politics.
not dividing anyone.
Okay.
I'm just saying, even though I feel like maybe we should do some dividing.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Right. Well. Okay. Look, we gotta go.
I'm just saying. It's
we got people. We look. Okay.
But what were we talking about?
It's about time to fucking end the stream.
Is it?
Yeah. I think so. We've been on for a long time, and it looks like a lot of people have gone. So we probably should go ahead and sign out.
Do you want to put your
I
Michael Caine wig back on?
Nah, I don't need a Michael Caine wig.
I have my pretty wig on. Though.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we're gonna do another stream like this probably next week. Hopefully,
next
you guys.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Hopefully
You know
have a
what?
good time.
I think that.
She's fucking drunk.
No.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
We're gonna start doing this every Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Is that because before we were doing like
Yeah.
Wednesday, we were doing like a matinee, but I kind of feel like y'all don't give a shit about the movie reviews. So okay.
We'll come up with something.
So I feel like Wednesday evenings, it's midweek.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do another this kind of shit.
Yeah.
And we will kill our livers for you guys.
Well, we'll try to perfect this more. Make sure that we have the right music in the background. We have a little bit more of a fucking punchy fucking delivery. Maybe we'll have a little bit more of an outline next time, so we can, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Keep it moving a little
don't
bit
stress
further.
me out.
We'll
Seriously,
see. We'll see.
well, no,
Well,
like
I
I feel like I like the whole like not.
Jacqueline says, can't wait for fucking next week.
Yeah.
Fucking Xanada says, Jenny's hammered. She's fucking hammered.
I am.
That's one of the reasons why I'm trying to shut the show down, because she's fucking hammered.
It's good. Well,
Yeah.
what do you think's gonna happen? It's
Nothing's
fine.
gonna happen. Just I'm saying we've
Nothing's
been
gonna happen.
on for several
I'm
hours.
not gonna hit
We've
you
been
or
on for
nothing.
several hours. We've been on for several hours.
He's afraid.
No, I'm not.
No, it's fine. I'm drunk, but like, look, this is my fourth.
She said
Well-
levers can regenerate.
This is my fourth double. I'll be
shit
fine.
we gotta watch tonight anyway.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we did. You gotta
Do
see
we?
gotta see my friend the fucking octopus.
Well, I know, but like, we don't have anything that we have to watch, like for review purposes.
What'd you guys think of the music? Let's get some suggestions. This is the first show. I'd like to know.
I just like downloaded some random shit
Yeah.
from
Right.
Free Music Archive, and it was like Vaporwave, and I just like download all this shit.
Yeah.
And some people were kind of like, I liked some of it and not so much other stuff, but I was kind of like, well, I don't really have time to sift through
Right.
all this bullshit, so I'm
I
just
haven't
kind of
seen
like.
any feedback yet on it. Okay.
But you know, why am I wearing this wig?
They said the music was okay.
Okay.
Well, I think I can come up with something a little bit better. Though.
Well,
I'll,
send me the shit.
Yeah, I'll send you some.
Help me.
I'm gonna send you like
Help me.
send you like some mixed music that are from
Well,
from
help me.
various fucking
And
makers.
that I am allowed to use that is not going to like
80s
get
music.
me.
Okay,
fucking,
here's the thing, Tina. Here's
not
the
gonna get me like a
Right.
fucking.
T.
you
Here,
know.
here's the thing. If we put 80s music on there, there's gonna be copyright violations.
That's what I'm saying.
It's got to be something
Don't give
that
me
is
some
just
fucking-
background music or something that's like for fucking free music. That's the problem. Okay. So we can't put any copyrighted music on there. I was thinking about putting some Google music on there.
Well, that's why, like I said, that's why I kind of was just like, hey, what's some like free music that I can use? And I was just kind of like,
Right. But we'll see you guys next week. We're gonna try. Thanks for joining us. We'll
well,
perfect this
Saturday
up.
we'll be back.
We're back Saturday.
We'll be talking about Heaven's Gate
Yep.
on Saturday.
Yep. And we will see you then.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Why am I wearing this wig?
I don't know.
All right. We'll see you guys Saturday. We're talking about the Heaven's Gate cult. And we'll see you then. Thanks for dropping by. Bye.